In a quiet classroom, students are either lying on their desks or sitting, drowsing in the afternoon sun. In the hallway, students chase and roughhouse. Laughter echoes by the library bookshelves. A boy and a girl stand side by side, talking in low voices. The stone monument at the school gate stands tall. Flames and thick smoke devour everything. The peaceful campus is reduced to ruins. Only a dead silence remains. Amidst the charred, broken walls, a lone figure in a pool of blood, tightly holding another person in his arms. A group of students walks down a road. The sun is shining brightly. The trees provide ample shade. A line of text is displayed on a phone screen. It was a moment of spiritual connection. Fingertips touch Atika's shoulder. The moonlight gently envelopes them, and Atika's hand rests on his thigh. Inshanhu looks annoyed. So annoying. Inshanhu, second year at Daehan High School. Height 166 centimeters. Weight, self-proclaimed hot. MBTI, self-proclaimed cute. Hobby is reading fantasy romance novels. The sunlight is glaring. Inshanhu squints. He walks among the crowd. I should have finished reading it in the classroom. The phone suddenly rings. Inshanhu answers the call. What? A light laugh comes from the other end of the line. You called first. Are you trying to pick a fight this early in the morning? Special skill. Arguing with childhood friend Park Ianu. Park Ianu chuckles. So why did you call? Did you miss your big brother? Inshanhu speaks impatiently. Stop messing around. I don't want to hear your grating voice this early in the morning. Did you bring the thing? Park Ianu says. Bring what? Your conscience? Inshanhu retorts. You're being a smart mouth again. Where's my gym uniform? Park Ianu's tone is cheerful. I brought it. I brought it safe and sound. Inshanhu is a little surprised. Oh, how kind of you. Where is it? Park Ianu says calmly, at home. Inshanhu roars into the phone. What? We have gym class today. Are you kidding me? Go home and get it right now. Get your ass back home. The call is disconnected. Inshanhu stares at his phone in disbelief. What? His cheeks are flushed with anger. That bastard Park Ianu actually dared to hang up on me. I can hear your devious plans from over here. I'll just wear your clothes for gym class. You can figure out how to borrow some for yourself. Got it? A pink glow emanates from beneath his feet. Inshanhu feels a gentle breeze brush past him. He looks up in a daze. What did I do today? His body is enveloped in light. His short brown hair instantly grows out, turning into long, wavy pink curls. His school uniform changes along with it. He looks completely bewildered. What is going on? What the hell are these clothes? He touches his cheek. The sensation is so real. What is happening now? He grabs a lock of his long pink hair, his face full of confusion. Why does it hurt? Suddenly, the sound of a distant bell reaches his ears. Inshanhu turns his head. A magnificent European-style castle stands there. The bell tower and spires glisten in the sunlight. The sound of the fountain murmurs. He is completely stunned. What the hell is this place? This feeling. I know it. I know it all too well. This is the feeling of being late. He slaps his cheeks hard. I have to wake up quickly, or I'll be late. He snaps his eyes wide open. Hoofbeats make a soft sound as they cross the grass. Inshanhu stands before a magnificent iron gate, watching two knights. On horseback, they enter the grand campus. He is dumbfounded. The sound of hoofbeats clatters. Students in uniform hold parasols, walking along the wide campus path. Inshanhu's knees go weak. He collapses to the ground. Why can't I wake up? Tell me, what is this? My name is Inshanhu. I'm 18 years old. The perfect age to be spending money on fantasy romance novels. I'm a huge fan of fantasy romance novels. Those gorgeous clothes and magic that don't exist in reality. The fusion of Western fantasy and Eastern elements. It's simply the best, but experiencing it firsthand is another matter entirely. Possession, transmigration, reincarnation. These common tropes in fantasy romance novels. Don't they all mean I have to spend the rest of my life here? Doesn't that mean I have to give up everything from 21st century civilization, fried chicken, kimchi rice, phones, computers, TVs, and modern medicine? Inshanhu screams in despair. Fantasy romance novels are only meant to be experienced indirectly. Do you understand? Noble women might be forced into arranged marriages. Such historical details are surprisingly accurate. A voice interrupts him. Hey, student. Inshanhu whips his head around, growling like a beast. Who is it? A guard looks at him expressionlessly. Inshanhu points to himself. Me? The guard nods. Yes. How can a commoner use the main gate? Are you crazy this early in the morning? Hurry up and use the side path. Inshanhu looks aghast. A commoner? The guard urges impatiently. Why are you so slow? Hurry up and get out of the way before the nobles arrive. Ignorance is truly bliss. Go on, go on. Honestly, Shan muses. Did I transmigrate into a novel? A novel with a commoner as the protagonist. It shouldn't be hard to find it among the books I've read. Probably just have to pick one out of about 23.54 million books. At least I'm not a slave. The uniform is pretty cute too. Since they call me a student, this must be some kind of academy. But how do they know I'm a commoner? He looks down at himself, then at the students around him. Everyone's wearing the same clothes. He roars. If you could have suddenly thrown me into a class-based society, at least make me a noble. Pink petals silently fall from the sky. Shan is taken aback. The petals brush past the accessory on the knight's waist, brushing past the ornate cross medal on his chest. Shan stares intently at the black-haired man's gaze. It is cold and profound. The blond man's smile is radiant. The white-haired man is engrossed in reading an ancient book in his hands. A commotion arises in the crowd. Greetings, Your Highness the Crown Prince. Shan looks bewildered. Is he a noble? He points a trembling finger at the person in front. Park Inawai, are you here? He shouts in shock. His voice echoes across the grand campus. The crowd falls silent. Everyone looks at each other in dismay. Park Inu, on his horse, looks down at him. Are you talking to me? Shan retorts fearlessly. Yes, you. And those ridiculous clothes of yours. It's absurd. A knight in armor rushes over, grabbing Shan. Shut up, you insolent commoner. I'll make you remember this for the rest of your life. I'll teach you a lesson. Shan is dragged away, leaving a trail of dust on the ground. He is dragged to a secluded spot. He violently shakes off the knight's hand, panting heavily. I almost died. What on earth are you trying to do? The guard crosses his arms and scoffs. If it weren't for me, you'd be dead by now. So ungrateful. He scolds sharply. Commoners are not allowed to speak to nobles casually. Whatever delusions you have, that insult just now almost cost you your life. Know your place. Shan's cheeks burn with anger. This damn class-based society is terrifying. Wait, I'm a commoner. But why is Park Inu a noble? The guard looks surprised. You don't even know that those three are nobles? Were you a slave before enrolling? Shan retorts furiously. Of course not. Can't you see I'm cued all over? The guard is expressionless. All I see is cheapness. Shan is furious, grabbing his head. I'm going crazy. The guard clears his throat. Let me explain briefly. The one at the very front is Duke Park Inu, the great man who guards the empire's northern border. He's famous among the noble ladies for his imposing physique. The blonde man is Crown Prince Eunice. He's considerate, kind, and exceptionally capable. You could say he's the idol of the empire. Lastly is the master of the magic tower, Hansuko. He has made great contributions to the empire's prosperity. It's said that his dark skin. The guard suddenly stops. Sorry, I think I've said too much. Shan stares at him blankly. What did you say? Xinjiang, Xinjiang. The melodious bell chimes. Shan jerks his head up. That sound. The guard turns to leave. Class is starting. Be careful. I'm leaving. Shan waves goodbye. Be careful. He muses. The bell sounds exactly the same. But everything has changed. The school and the hallways. Everything is different from my memory. The people are the same, familiar yet strange. The Crown Prince, the Master of the Magic Tower, and the Northern Duke. This academy. Shan's gaze sharpens. He recalls the novel he was reading on his phone this morning, and the people he passed on his way to school. His eyes fly open. That's the novel I was reading this morning. Oh my God, I'm a genius. I just have to follow what's on my phone. He pats all his pockets. Where did I put my phone? He extends his hand blankly, pulling out a strange toy. My phone. His face instantly turns ashen. The novel I was reading. A Fantasy Homasi. The main setting is an academy. The Crown Prince, the Northern Duke, the Master of the Magic Tower. The three male leads madly pursue the commoner female lead. Their emotions are intense and wild. The main male lead is the Crown Prince. On the verge of graduation, they confirm their feelings for each other. The novel ends there. Of course, there's also the side plot of the female lead having a terminal illness, but it's all overshadowed by the happy ending. Shan's train of thought comes to a halt. Wait, a commoner protagonist. Am I not the female lead? A heavy door slowly swings open. He looks at it in surprise. Is this some kind of automatic system? He walks in the classroom. His eyes widen. Two girls are talking. In Shan-hu shouts excitedly, Mayong. Su Zeng. The classroom is full of students. The atmosphere is dead silent. In Shan-hu looks confused. The students around him whisper. The stench of a commoner's sweat. She actually dared to call Lady Su-zhan by her first name. How shameless. We must complain again. These peasants think the academy is their private property. Can he even choose his own birth? How pathetic. If it were me, I'd just die tomorrow. In Shan-hu lowers his gaze. Right, the script always goes like this. He holds up a finger. Everyone looks confused. What does that mean? In Shan-hu sits down in his seat. It's just a novel. My friends aren't like that. Do you think this is enough to bring me down? I just need to find a way out. Park Yin-woo pushes the door open and walks in. A brilliant smile appears on In Shan-hu's face. He leans close to Park Yin-woo, poking his shoulder with a finger. Park Yin-woo turns around, puzzled. His gaze is icy. The air around him seems to freeze. In Shan-hu muses. All right, I just remembered. A fake Park Yin-woo. He slumps heavily onto the desk, letting out a long sigh. Even Park Yin-woo is part of this farce. Why did I expect any authenticity? So boring. He props his chin on his hand, his eyes disdainful. But why does it always feel like a blizzard is raging around him? Talk about splitting hairs. Just because he's the Northern Duke, his seat is in the school's back alley? The logic of this world is paper thin. But how can someone who's sensitive to the cold tolerate such a blizzard? The class bell rings. In Shan-hu's eyelids grow heavier. Even in a fantasy academy, there's no escaping boring lectures. He jerks awake. Wow, I fell asleep. He's the only one left in the empty classroom. Class is already over. Where did everyone go? No one even woke me up. Life without friends has a certain flavor. For the first time in 18 years, I'm tasting what it's like to be forgotten by society. He recalls the lively past, friends surrounding him with laughter and joy. It's not time to go home yet, but since no one's here, maybe they went on a field trip. Freedom. Ding. A blue, semi-transparent screen appears before him. In Shan-hu freezes. What is this? He panics. The mission is to talk to the male lead. Is this some kind of hidden route? He covers his mouth shyly. So I really am the female lead. You've got good taste. He looks at the information on the screen. That male lead is the victim of stomachaches due to the cold. That's practically Park Yin-woo. In Shan-hu angrily shatters the mission panel. Change the male lead for me right now. In Shan-hu's face is flushed, his hands tightly gripping the shattered panel. His body trembles with rage. Park Yin-woo leans against the doorframe, watching him with a cold gaze. In Shan-hu's breath catches. The shame. He can barely breathe. Please say something. Park Yin-woo speaks. Go to the magic research lab. In Shan-hu stares blankly at his retreating back. Okay, are we classmates? He hugs his books, tapping his lips with a finger, a confused expression on his face. Park Yin-woo strides down the red carpet. In Shan-hu follows closely behind. Snowflakes drift down around them. I can't get used to this situation at all, so now I have to walk with Park Yin-woo, right? He stands beside him, feeling out of place. Wait. Doesn't the level of intimacy for this kind of mission always increase? In Shan-hu's thoughts drift away. He imagines himself kissing Park Yin-woo. He snaps back to reality, clutching the books in his arms. He covers his mouth, a blush spreading across his cheeks. It's actually not that bad. A white cat is eating on the muddy ground. A voice rings out. Found you. In Shan-hu crouches in the bushes, holding the white cat. Sunlight filters through the leaves, dappling his body. Park Yin-woo stands by the window, a gentle smile on his face. I was wondering who was feeding the cat before me. So was you. The corners of his eyes crinkle, his smile growing brighter. In Shan-hu's cheeks instantly turn bright red. Stars burst in his eyes. He covers his face with his hands, his cheeks burning. What on earth is wrong with me? Park Yin-woo points ahead. We're at the Magic Research Lab. In Shan-hu follows behind him in a daze. The Magic Research Lab. Sounds like some kind of scientific institution. Park Yin-woo turns to leave. I'm going now. In Shan-hu quickly reaches out. Wait, aren't you coming in with me? Park Yin-woo turns back, his eyes carrying a hint of scrutiny. You're quite informal. In Shan-hu immediately changes his tone. Would you mind not coming in, sir? Park Yin-woo's voice is cold. I study different things than you. Snowflakes fall on his shoulders. In Shan-hu stares blankly as his thoughts drift. Park Yin-woo says to him, I brought you here because I was afraid you'd go after innocent people. Go in and behave yourself. In Shan-hu holds up a finger. Bastard. He snaps out of it, looking at Park Yin-woo's back. Thank you. Park Yin-woo doesn't look back. It doesn't matter if you thank me or not. You're still a commoner. In Shan-hu recalls his old friends and the unique students in that academy. This is better than being thrown into a completely strange place. He pushes open the ornate doors. Inside, students sit properly at their desks. Pairs of crimson eyes turn to look at him in unison. In Shanhu freezes. Sorry I'm late. I got lost. The atmosphere is so tense. The instructor on the platform speaks coldly. You're late, commoner. In Shanhu walks to his seat. Yeah, I'm a commoner. That's why I don't know the way. Calling me a commoner over and over. It's so annoying. The instructor opens a book. Today, we will be learning water control magic. The instructor moves his fingertips slightly. A ball of water levitates in his palm. Concentrate, just like this. It's simple for nobles. As for commoners, just do your best. Now, try it yourselves. In Shanhu's eyes sparkle with excitement. Wow, you can't have fantasy without magic. He holds out his hands. A faint stream of water gathers and swirls in his palms, and it suddenly erupts. A brilliant water dragon coils and rises around him. In Shanhu's eyes widen, his mouth slightly agape. No way. Am I a magical genius in this world? In writing class, the instructor scolds In Shanhu. Is this garbage what you wrote? In etiquette class, the instructor covers his face and gets up. I've taught for so many years, and I've never seen such a failure of a student. World geography class, the instructor points at the map. For God's sake, I told you. There are no continents or islands here. The other subjects are even more ridiculously difficult. In Shanhu collapses on his desk. 0 in speaking, 0 in table manners. I'm not a genius. This is too hard. He jerks awake, looking at the mission panel. Talk to the male lead. So, that means I have 2 chances left, right? Alright, studying has never been my strong suit. Love. Let's go pursue love. Wait for me, senior. In Shanhu rummages around the library. My future husband, where are you? He peeks around. Are you in here? He even looks inside a trash can. How am I supposed to find something like love? As expected of my future husband. It's so hard to even get a glimpse of him. A figure suddenly appears behind him. He falls heavily to the ground, striking a tragic heroine pose. In Shanhu looks up from the floor. Damn it, a blond man in a white uniform stands before him, his posture upright. In Shanhu's gaze is completely captivated. He stares at him blankly. So beautiful. The blond man smiles slightly, his eyes gentle. Crown Prince Unais speaks softly. I'm sorry, are you alright? In Shanhu jerks his head up, his heart skipping a beat. This is a crazy visual attack. Say something quick. He clasps his hands, his cheeks flushed, his eyes dazed. I'm completely fine. Better than ever, in fact. Unais chuckles. Your way of speaking is quite interesting. The students around them whisper. How dare a commoner block the prince's path? What is he trying to do? How dare he pretend to be weak to gain the prince's sympathy? Unais ignores the surrounding chatter. He gently places a hand on In Shanhu's shoulder. You seem to have something to say. If it's not convenient here, we can talk somewhere else. In Shanhu's mind goes blank. Loading. Unais tilts his head slightly, looking puzzled. Beside him, In Shanhu stands rigidly like a statue. Unais looks at him, a hint of a smile in his eyes. In Shanhu screams and runs away. Unais is left stunned. What just happened? In Shanhu stops at a corner, his arms raised stiffly. My heart is about to explode. His face is bright red, steam rising from his mouth. His face is a lethal weapon. I've already fallen head over heels for the senior. And now another male lead appears. Since the novel ends with her getting together with the crown prince, does that mean I just have to win over the senior? Unais, wearing a crown, gazes at him affectionately. Shanhu, I love you. You are my one and only love. He gently caresses In Shanhu's cheek. The fantasy shatters abruptly. Mission to talk to the male lead failed. The school will explode. A fighting spirit ignites in Shanhu's eyes. I understand everything now. I'm going to win them over. I'll win over all 3 of them. He slumps onto a bench. At this point, there's no other choice. There's only one person left. The master of the magic tower, Han Suko. In Shanhu falls into deep thought. He props his chin on his hand. I don't remember this person at all. With a face and body like that, there's no way I wouldn't know him. My list of handsome guys is clearly outdated. He jerks awake. The mission window made it very clear. Failure means the school explodes. For real? Just because I failed one mission, the school is going to explode? This is a novel world. The female lead can't possibly die so meaninglessly. He shoots up. Can't I just ignore the mission? He tries to push the mission panel away. What kind of stupid plot is this? Is this for real? The mission panel presses aggressively closer to him. In Shanhu covers his face, holding back tears. I definitely wasn't dragged here by some force. Since I'm in a novel, the male leads are bound to revolve around the female lead. I got here through my keen reasoning. He looks around the library. Let's see, where is he? Oh, found him. In Shan-hu crosses the library and walks straight to Hansuko. He leans in close, a brilliant smile on his face. Hello, I am Yin Shan-hu. He opens his arms wide, full of enthusiasm. Want some gummies? Hansuko doesn't move a muscle, his gaze fixed on the tree leaves. In Shan-hu's smile freezes on his face. He leans in even closer. Is he not even going to bother pretending to listen? He continues to ask, do you like scones? What about jam? Hansuko finally reacts. Is this fun for you? In Shan-hu's smile completely vanishes. A vein pops on his forehead. He breaks down internally. The guy who's destined to give his heart and soul for me won't even say hello. If it weren't for this damn mission, I would have died here. He forces himself to adjust his mindset. Never mind. He must have been like this from the start. In the future, I'll make him willingly give me everything. I must have been in a bad state today and picked the wrong time. He strikes a cute pose. Shall we talk again next time? He turns and waves goodbye, leaving with a light step. Talk to the male lead. Mission complete. He takes a few steps, and the smile on his face instantly disappears, his expression turning cold. I don't care anymore. I've experienced the system anyway. He blurs into an afterimage and rushes out of the library. Tables and chairs are overturned by the airflow in his wake. Students scatter in terror. The Demon King has arrived. The next day, In Shan-hu leaps high, charging towards Hansuko like a cannonball. Hansuko grabs him. Why? In Shan-hu looks back. What's going on? Why what? The system panel flashes in front of In Shan-hu. Mission complete. Reward distributed. The world plunges into darkness. Unsettling energy surges. In Shan-hu stands alone in front of the school building. Ominous red and blue auras surge from all directions surrounding him. In Shan-hu jerks awake, cold sweat soaking his nightgown. The ornate mural on the ceiling comes into view. He presses a hand to his aching forehead. What were those images just now? He sits up, looking around the luxurious room. Where am I? Why am I sleeping here? Hansuko pulls back the curtain. You're awake. I brought you to the infirmary. His body. In Shan-hu suddenly remembers. He cups Hansuko's face. You suddenly grab my shoulder. And then, his body suddenly stiffens. What was that? Hansuko's sexflush. In Shan-hu snatches his hand back. What was that just now? Hansuko's face is red. He turns his head away in embarrassment. In Shan-hu, however, is lost in thought. So it really was a dream. But the timing doesn't add up. He looks at his hands, and it felt too real. He looks up at Hansuko. But why am I here? Hansuko, please. You fainted. In Shan-hu is taken aback. I know that. Why did I faint? He lowers his head. Okay, calm down. He's too handsome. He forces a smile onto his face. I get it. Hansuko's expression is grim. Strange. In Shan-hu roars internally. Is there something wrong with this guy? I'm already smiling at him. You're the strange one. He puts on an innocent face. What is it? Hansuko turns his head. Follow me. In Shan-hu sits on the edge of the bed, confused, watching him walk towards the door. Hansuko leads him through a hallway towards a magnificent golden door. In Shan-hu stands before the grand door. I know I'm not the strange one. It's this school. But why did you bring me here? He crosses his arms, looking impatient. Hansuko crouches down and picks up a stone from the ground. In Shan-hu is even more confused. Why did you suddenly pick up a stone? Hansuko swings his arm fiercely, throwing the stone with great force. Blue energy envelopes the stone. In Shan-hu is scared out of his wits. What? The stone was firmly caught. In Shan-hu was dumbfounded. Is this for real? Hansuko knew that. I kept staring at the school gate, but not a single person. They stood before the gate. The main gate was shut tight. The surroundings were dead silent. A massive energy barrier shrouded the exit. No one has ever left. Not a single person. In Shan-hu muttered to himself. Does that mean I can't get out either? A family photo surfaced in his mind. Mom, Dad, am I really trapped here? Will I never see my family and friends again? Impossible. Absolutely impossible. His body went limp, and he fell backward. Hansuko caught him steadily, pulling him into an embrace. He spoke. When you fainted, I saw the school burning. Only you, and I know something is wrong here. In Shan-hu looked up, his eyes filled with tears. You and me? Hansuko gazed at him. As long as we stay calm, we can find a way out together. If you don't want to. I do. In Shan-hu suddenly hugged him. The two of us together. Hansuko froze for a moment. He pushed In Shan-hu away. Don't hug me. What on earth is going on? A strange glint flashed in In Shan-hu's eyes. A potential male lead candidate. The master of the magic tower. uncovering the school's secrets together. How did things turn out like this? If I'm lucky, he can even help me complete the mission. He suddenly yelled, "You're my only hope, too." Hansuko was taken aback by the shouting. What are you freaking out about all of a sudden? Are you even listening to me? His entire face turned bright red like a ripe cherry. Inshanhu gripped his hand tightly. Finally, someone can help me with the mission. I'm counting on you from now on, Hansuko. Hansuko's heart skipped a beat. He suddenly called my name. Inshanhu continued, I don't really get it either, but there's this thing called a mission. If we complete it together, we can uncover the truth of the school. Our team name is the Academy Detective Squad. Hansuko turned his face away. Lame. Inshanhu looked up at him. Really? Then what about Suko and his friends? Hansuko shook his head. Even worse. Inshanhu stood at the entrance of the magic research lab. A group of students whispered, that commoner girl has gone crazy. She's just a commoner. Inshanhu placed his hands on his hips. A smug smile was on his face. I have a friend now, too. He couldn't stop grinning. Finally, I'm not alone anymore. Pull yourself together. He stood among the crowd. His expression turned cold, his gaze as sharp as a knife. He approached a female classmate and asked in a low voice, have you heard about the school secret? Don't you think this place is strange? His tone shifted. I'm not trying to show off or anything about the school. His words trailed off, his gaze drawn to something in the distance. A green-haired girl stood there. She was breathtakingly beautiful. Inshanhu continued talking about the school secret. The students beside him covered their mouths and snickered, their red fans half open. Parkianu stared at them, his eyes cold. Under the clear blue sky, the magnificent academy building stood tall. Inshanhu's hand was suddenly slapped away. He staggered as the surrounding students looked on with disgust. One student flicked his hand in disgust. Goose. Our hands touched. Another student covered her mouth in horror. Is he trying to rub his filth on you? Inshanhu's anger burned in his eyes. He smiled slyly. Why? Weren't you going to tell me the school's secret? The others murmured. What is he talking about? The school's secret? Isn't that the only reason you haven't been expelled yet? We've been tolerating you dragging down the school standards. So at least stop causing trouble everywhere. Like air. Just pretend you don't exist. The girl with the fan scoffed. You actually think this is funny? Is your brain too small to understand human language? Inshanhu's mouth fell open as he took a sharp breath. He shouted at the top of his lungs, this is school violence. A group of students ganging up on one. Oh my God, an innocent student is being beaten to death. Someone call the police. Form a school violence disciplinary committee. A girl roared, what is wrong with you? Shut up. Inshanhu's face was contorted. You will be punished for this. He let out a low growl like a wild beast. The students fled in terror. What on earth is wrong with him? Inshanhu sighed. These little brats really think there's something. The students screamed and ran away. Parkinu stood quietly in the distance. His breath hitched. It's you. Inshanhu tilted his head, a look of innocence on his face. He spoke sweetly. Well, if it isn't Duke Parkianu. Parkianu cut him off sharply. Who exactly are you? Inshanhu blinked. What do you mean? I'm just a poor, bullied commoner. Parkianu's expression was complicated. That's not what I meant. His stomach churned, and his body bent forward sharply. Inshanhu immediately supported him. Are you okay? Is your stomach hurting again? He shouted anxiously. You're so frail. Why are you still running around everywhere? With a snowstorm following you. At least dress warmly. I can't believe it. Parkianu was confused. A snowstorm is following me? He gasped in pain, clutching his stomach tightly. Inshanhu helped him sit on a bench. His tone became stern. How many times have I told you? Parkianu's thoughts were a mess. Why is he acting so familiar? He frowned. Why does he give me a sense of familiarity? Inshanhu chattered on. You're always saying you're the Grand Duke of the North, or something. A system prompt appeared. The heroine's hands are healing hands. Mission, warm the male lead's stomach within 1 hour. Inshanhu looked blank. I have to rub this guy's stomach? The mission panel appeared before his eyes. Failure equals. Stop burning. Inshanhu fell to his knees. 16 years single. 16 years of friendship. 16 years of bickering. Parkianu looked displeased. Are you sick? Inshanhu melted into a pink puddle. I'm not sick, just a little cold. My heart is cold. He secretly wriggled closer. It's not because of him that I feel cold. He mumbled, his body involuntarily moving closer. In Shan-hu fidgeted restlessly, while Park Ian-woo sat in stunned silence. An invisible class barrier hung between them. How'd I end up sitting next to him? How am I supposed to do this without touching his stomach? The atmosphere was painfully awkward. How did we even talk before? In a memory, In Shan-hu kicked at Park Ian-woo. He dodged with a laugh. I surrender. In Shan-hu pondered. It's not that big of a deal, right? We've seen everything anyway. Let's do it. He moved closer to Park Ian-woo, a brilliant smile on his face. We meet again. What a coincidence. Snowflakes began to fall. In Shan-hu froze. Damn it. I should have kept my mouth shut. He looked aggrieved. At least he used to curse at me before. This is a mess. Park Ian-woo spoke up, asking, but how did you get here? In Shan-hu pointed at himself. Me? Park Ian-woo hesitated for a moment. He muttered in a low voice, you seem dangerous. In Shan-hu was stunned. What? He looked at him in disbelief. What is he even talking about? This guy really thinks he's the male lead. Park Ian-woo shivered. In Shan-hu was startled. Are you okay? He reached out his hand. I told you, we should go to the infirmary. Park Ian-woo grabbed his hand. Don't tell anyone about this. If word gets out that I'm falling ill for no reason, those nobles will use it as an opportunity to attack me. Now you know my secret, too. This will also put you in danger. Remember that. In Shan-hu's face turned pale. The mission panel flickered before his eyes. Warm the male lead's stomach. Failure equals burning. I can't listen to this anymore. I've had enough. He gave a sudden push. Park Ian-woo staggered from a push. Wait, what are you doing? In Shan-hu smiled faintly. Let's get this over with quickly. Park Ian-woo fell back on a bench. He was horrified. You lowly commoner. Are you trying to take advantage of me while I'm weak? In Shan-hu's hands pressed down on his abdomen. Park Ian-woo's cheeks were burning. What is this shameless position? Get your hands off my stomach. In Shan-hu straddled him, pressing down firmly with both hands. Mission complete. Reward distributed. He let out a sigh of relief, smugly flipping his hair. What's the big deal? A piece of cake. The surrounding scenery began to distort. Students watched the scene in horror and scattered. In Shan-hu stood in the darkness, covered in filth. Ian-woo, why is everyone lying on ground? He muttered, straddling Park Ian-woo. Park Ian-woo quickly got up, shaking him in a panic. What happened all of a sudden? Wake up. In Shan-hu slowly opened his eyes. Park Ian-woo's face was right in front of him. He covered his face as tears slid down. In Shan-hu slowly closed his eyes. You still look the same as before when you cry. In Shan-hu woke with a start. He gasped for air. Where am I? Impossible. An unfamiliar ceiling. He kicked off the blanket. I'm not saying a cliché novel line like that. If I keep fainting like this, I should see a doctor. I don't need any damn romance right now. Isn't my life more important than romance? He clutched his hair in agony. And were those scenes really the mission reward? Why would they show that to a minor? He thrashed around in bed. I risked my life to touch something I didn't want to touch. So, give me a normal reward. This is a romance fantasy novel. Park Ian-woo cleared his throat. He covered his mouth with his hand, his eyes darting away. He sat by the bed. He had the look of someone who had witnessed everything. In Shan-hu's cheeks instantly flushed. A wave of shame washed over him. His body exploded into a burst of light in the air. Park Ian-woo's expression was serious. Before you fainted, I saw something terrifying. In Shan-hu lay face down on the bed, melted into a puddle. He was completely unconcerned. Park Ian-woo continued. A strange building was engulfed in flames. Fallen students were everywhere. In Shan-hu looked up in shock. Those memories. Isn't that something only Han Suko could see? Park Ian-woo was lost in thought. After seeing those images, I suddenly had a sense of déjà vu. I remembered what I overheard last time, the conversation with the master of the Magic Tower. A commoner, casually talking with the master of the Magic Tower. Mission, secret, finding. Anyone who heard it would find it suspicious. Park Ian-woo leaned in closer. So you were the one who showed me that illusion, weren't you? Why did you make me see that? What kind of magic is this? What are you and the master of the Magic Tower planning? If it harms the Empire, I will not stand by and do nothing. In Shan-hu turned his face away. It's not what I want to do, it's the system. I'm not interested in things like war. He pressed his forehead in pain. The Park Ian-woo I knew wasn't this considerate. What do I do? What should I say now? Seeing how detailed he is, it seems the memories really were shared with the male lead candidates. How much can I tell him? It was fine to tell Han Suko about the mission. Does that mean there's no penalty for talking about it? Maybe it's okay as long as I only talk about mission-related things. What if I talk about reality instead of a romance fantasy? Park Ian-woo's gaze was sharp. In that illusion, weren't all the buildings square? The clothes were different from here, too. Everyone's hair color was too similar. And there were things that don't exist here at all. He commanded, "Tell me more." In Shanhu took a deep breath. "This is a novel world, not reality. It seems I can say this much. The system is more lenient than I thought. Maybe I can say even more." He mustered his courage. "Your Grace, in reality, we've seen everything of each other except for being naked." Park Inu shot up to his feet. He looked disgusted. "How dare you defile my ears with the vulgar language of a street thug? There's no value in listening any further." In Shanhu reached out his hand. "Wait." But the door was already closed. No matter what conditions you offer, some people just won't accept. That's the cruel reality. Park Inu stood alone outside the door in silence. As night deepened, he looked down in thought, starlight falling on his shoulders. His hand trembled slightly on the doorknob. He let go, then gripped it tightly again. In Shanhu straightened the blanket. "You should at least listen until someone is finished talking. This is all for your own good. If you're going to ignore me, do it completely. What's with this ambiguous concern? A Grand Duke bringing a fainted commoner back to his room. Is that proper?" He walked towards the door. "I really don't get it." "You don't get it all." He suddenly smelled something. He buried his face in his sleeve and took a deep breath. Park Inu's scent. "Am I crazy? What am I thinking?" He walked down the stairs. "Why is it getting shabbier the further I go? I have a feeling." He pushed open a door. "Just as I thought. One is Park Inu's room, and the other is my room." He lay on the bed, his eyes vacant. "A noble's room is certainly luxurious. If I complete the mission, will he change back from the Grand Duke of the North to Park Inu?" In Shanhu sighed. "Anyone will do, as long as someone remembers reality." He closed his eyes. "I'm not surprised anymore." A blue system window appeared. In Shanhu clicked on it. "Let's see what kind of garbage mission it is this time." "Mission, I feel empty. Please hold my hand." In Shanhu thought impatiently. "Here we go again. This is ridiculous." A system notification sound chimed. "Most of the students in the academy are real people." In Shanhu stared blankly. Why the sudden hint? The students at the academy are real people? Then are the kids here my real friends? The system window shattered and dissipated before his eyes. In Shanhu's gaze sharpened. "Then what's the point if I can't remember? System, why are you telling me this now?" He closed his eyes, exhausted. "Will I get my memories back? I hope this isn't just wishful thinking. But how did I get here? Are there dorms at the school?" The sunlight was blinding. A magnificent clock tower loomed ahead. In Shanhu stood in the middle of the hall, looking at the students on the stairs. The atmosphere in the spacious classroom was solemn. In Shanhu smiled and waved. "Good morning, my dear nobles, you faithful slaves to the system. You just don't remember, but you're still my friends." He clenched his fist, his eyes determined. "No matter how many missions you give me, I won't be discouraged." He walked towards Hansuko. Hansuko's gaze lingered on him. He swallowed, his hands still hovering in midair, not yet lowered. In Shanhu grabbed Hansuko's hand and pulled him closer. "I'm not alone." Hansuko looked startled. In Shanhu leaned in close. Hansuko's cheeks turned red. "What?" In Shanhu whispered in his ear. "This is a mission." Hansuko let out a sigh of relief. "Really? So the mission is complete, right? Am I going to faint like before?" A system window unfolded before In Shanhu. "Mission, I feel empty. Please hold my hand." 3 times. In Shanhu roared. "Are you kidding me? 3 times?" He collapsed to the floor in despair. "Why didn't you tell me the number of times yesterday? Isn't one person enough? All you do is throw missions at me. You don't tell me anything. I'm the only one being pushed to the limit." He suddenly pointed at a student. "And you?" The girl with short, grayish-white hair pointed at herself. "Me?" In Shanhu questioned sharply. "Jiang Yali, you promised you'd go to the movies and sing with me." He then pointed to another student. "And you?" "Qin Dongzhu, you begged me every day to take you to the arcade." Their eyes grew hazy, their faces filled with confusion. In Shanhu felt a bone-deep confusion. They don't remember at all. The world around him began to distort. Streams of data cascaded down like a waterfall. Countless error windows popped up. Jiang Yali lowered her head. "Today." She looked up. "What class do we have?" A voice replied, "Haha, you forgot again? It's magic class. I didn't bring my textbook. Let's borrow from the class next door." In Shanhu had a sudden realization. So their memories are being reconfigured, erasing In Shanhu's existence as if nothing ever happened. Hansuko looked at him, startled. "Shanhu." In Shanhu ran out without looking back. He collided with the green-haired girl. The green-haired girl watched In Shanhu's retreating figure. Did he just bump into me and run off? The magnificent academy was bathed in the morning light. The campus was lush with trees, peaceful and serene. In Shanhu squatted in a corner. A white cat rolled on the grass, its tail swaying gently. Even that cat that was here every day has disappeared. In Shanhu's eyes dimmed. Am I the only one who hasn't changed? He huddled under a tree, so lonely. Footsteps approached. In Shan-hu looked up. Yunei stood there. He was holding food, just in case. I came to feed the cat. They said they haven't seen it recently. Do you know? In Shan-hu shook his head. I don't know. Yunei looked at the huddled In Shan-hu. He was silent for a moment. He reached out his hand, wanting to comfort him, but In Shan-hu suddenly grabbed it, holding on tight. His cheeks flushed, his eyes hazy. Senior. Yunei violently shook off his hand. The bowl in his hand flew out, and the food scattered all over the ground. In Shan-hu fell to the ground. Yunei's gaze turned cold and complex. Outside the window, students chatted and laughed in the hallway. Yunei smiled, sunlight dappling his form. In Shan-hu looked at him, his gaze gentle. Yunei closed his eyes, the corners of his mouth lifting into a satisfied smile. Light and shadow fell on his neat school uniform, his tie perfectly knotted. In Shan-hu walked alone down the empty hallway. A blush appeared on his face, a shy smile playing on his lips. The person I like is such a good person. But at this moment, Yunei's expression turned cold. He disgustedly shook off In Shan-hu's hand. In Shan-hu shed silent tears. But he's not him. In Shan-hu stood up. He lowered his head. I'm sorry for grabbing you without permission. He forced a smile. Something unexpected happened. I wasn't thinking. The back of his hand was bright red, trembling uncontrollably. Yunei's face was shrouded in shadow, his expression unreadable. The corner of his mouth slowly curved up. Is your hand okay? In Shan-hu smiled. It's fine. He glanced frantically at his wrist. Oh, it's so late. He turned and waved. I'll be going then. He hurried away, his figure disappearing down the wooded path. Yunei stood alone. In Shan-hu recalled as he ran. He looked at me like I was something dirty. That was a look of malice. Does he hate physical contact? Even if he does, was it necessary to go that far? In Shan-hu's figure grew smaller in the distance, looking frail. Is he a germaphobe? Or does he just hate commoners? He panted, his face pale. Everything I knew has changed here. Everything has become different. He ran down the steps, brushing past Park Ianu. Park Ianu spoke up. Perfect timing. About yesterday, there's something I need to talk to you about. In Shan-hu didn't look up. Let's talk later. Park Ianu frowned. Is he crying? He grabbed In Shan-hu's wrist. We'll talk now. In Shan-hu looked at him with teary eyes. Park Ianu was stunned. You're really crying. In Shan-hu's face flushed. That's why I said we should talk later. He covered his face with his hands. So embarrassing. A blue system window popped up. I feel empty. Can you hold my hand? Mission complete. In Shan-hu's eyes were filled with tears, his pupils constricting in shock. And this? Does anyone even care about this system? A system notification sound chimed. Reward has been distributed. Everything is so frustrating. The city under the night sky. A strange energy surged. In Shan-hu was all alone. Mud-like arms reached out from the ground. Save me. It hurts. Countless hands grabbed at In Shan-hu. Save me. In Shan-hu's voice trembled. That must hurt so much. What on earth should I do? A blue light suddenly flared. A massive magic circle unfolded in the night sky, enveloping the entire academy. In Shan-hu sat on the ground, staring blankly at the magic circle. Park Ianu clutched his forehead, his body swaying slightly. Another illusion. He looked at In Shan-hu in his arms. As expected, you've collapsed again. He held him steadily, his eyes filled with confusion. Were these strange illusions? In Shan-hu, who exactly are you? Yunei's voice came. Sorry, but that girl is mine. He held out his hand, his tone icy. Can you give him back to me? Park Ianu's gaze sharpened. He didn't respond. Yunei closed his eyes, a cryptic smile playing on his lips. Another unfamiliar ceiling. Thankfully, someone picked me up. Was it Park Ianu? In Shan-hu was lying on a sofa. Yunei sat at a table, reading a book. He sat up abruptly. Senior, why are you here? Yunei closed his book. You're awake. Your reactions are always so interesting. I was a little worried after leaving you alone earlier. So I went back to find you, found you passed out, and brought you here. In Shan-hu responded in a low voice. So that means that bastard Park Ianu ended up abandoning me after all. Yunei turned his head. Were you scared? In Shan-hu was taken aback. He doesn't hate me? Was he just startled before, and that's why he shook my hand off? He came to a conclusion. This person doesn't like me. He's pressing his temples with his fingers. Does he have a headache? No, wait. That reaction. He moved closer excitedly. Senior, did you see it too? Does that mean you get a headache when you see the mission reward too? He looked on with anticipation. Juna se replied softly. No. What on earth is going on? A blue system window appeared in front of In Shan-hu. I will hold you in my broad embrace. Once. In Shanhu's jaw dropped in shock. One is someone I thought hated me, and the other is someone he genuinely hates. His scream echoed through the entire building. A glimmer of hope ignited in Shanhu's eyes. This might be a chance. If Senior receives the reward like Park Ianu, maybe he'll recover all his memories. Then I won't be alone anymore. A system notification sound suddenly chimed. Mission failed. The academy will be purged in 5 hours. Shanhu took a deep breath. Sorry, Senior. I didn't mean for this to happen. Eunice looked at him, confused. Shanhu suddenly lunged, giving it his all. He pinned Eunice to the sofa. To be honest, I really wanted to do this. A gentle breeze fluttered the curtains, sunlight streaming into the ornate room. Eunice's eyes were filled with confusion as he looked at Shanhu on top of him. Shanhu buried his face in Eunice's shoulder, his heart pounding like a drum. I did it. Suddenly, he was pushed away forcefully. He squeezed out an awkward smile. Sorry, I had no choice. If I told you this hug saved all the students, would you believe me? Eunice's face was expressionless. His grip on his sword suddenly tightened. Shanhu cried out in pain. Can you loosen up a bit? His pupils trembled with fear. Is this Senior Nace? Eunice's voice was ice-cold, a lowly commoner. How dare he? Shanhu froze on the spot. His words pierced his ears like icicles. Eunice took off his clothes, as if they were stained with some filth. So filthy. He kicked his jacket away, like tossing away a piece of contaminated trash. Shanhu watched blankly. It's worse than I imagined. Eunice stared at him with disgust. For some reason, the corners of his mouth turned up slightly. It feels good. He clenched his fists. What a strange commoner. I'm strange too. Getting entangled with this idiot again and again. Shouldn't I be feeling disappointed and blaming him right now? Why is he making that kind of expression? Shanhu's eyes were shining, his cheeks were flushed, and his mouth was stretched into a grin almost reaching his ears. Eunice mused. I've always hidden it so well. The star of the nobility, skilled in both literary and martial arts, talented and kind. I thought I could keep it up forever, but whenever I run into that foolish commoner. Senior, I like you. His fingers twitched slightly. Should I make him shut up, or should I watch a little longer? Shanhu suddenly screamed in terror, struggling violently. I already hugged him. Why hasn't anything changed? He looked at the system window in horror. Mission failed. The academy will be purged in 4 hours and 48 minutes. Hint, the other person must initiate the hug. This has to be a joke. Shanhu shot to his feet. Sorry for suddenly hugging you. Senior's embrace is very warm. I'll be going then. He turned and ran. Eunice stood alone, watching his retreating figure. He covered his mouth, his eyes dark. You dare to leave me just like that? Shanhu was sprinting down the hallway, an astonished crowd behind him. Forget about Senior. After the academy ends, I won't even be able to see anyone else. As long as I can capture one, I can reduce the risk. I have to race against time. There's one person who might actually hug me willingly. Before he goes back to the boys' dormitory, I have to catch him. Shanhu turned into a blur and rushed up the stairs. Meanwhile, Hansuko was sitting alone by the window, the sunlight serene. He was gently stroking a small yellow chick doll, his cheeks slightly flushed. A loud shout was heard. Hansuko turned his head in alarm. The yellow chick doll flew from his hand. Shanhu, without another word, said, "This is the last of my courtesy. Now come with me somewhere private." The surrounding students were dumbfounded. This isn't following, this is dragging. It's that commoner again. So ill-mannered. The door slammed shut with a bang. Shanhu dragged Hansuko into an empty room and pushed him hard against the wall. Hansuko's voice trembled. What are you trying to do? You're too close. Shanhu was panting, his eyes determined. Hug me. Hansuko looked bewildered. A hug? His face instantly turned bright red. Who hugs whom? Shanhu commanded, you hug me. It's a mission. Hansuko repeated in a low voice, so it's a mission. Shanhu opened his arms. Hurry up. Hansuko froze on the spot. He couldn't even make eye contact, and now he had to hug him. He slowly reached out his hands. But this is a mission. It must be completed. He suddenly knelt on the floor. I'm sorry. I can't do it. He covered his face with his hands, his whole body trembling, his cheeks burning red. Shanhu looked at him. Social anxiety? Or has he never been in a relationship? All right, if you can't do it, then forget it. I'll think of another way. He helped Hansuko up. Sorry for forcing you. He stretched. It would be great if there was a locator or a chat app. It's too much trouble finding people. He looked at Hansuko. Do you know where Park Ianu is? Hansuko replied. The Northern Duke, you mean? I don't know. Shanhu turned away. Looks like I have to run again. Sorry for dragging you here all of a sudden. I'm off to save the world. The door closed. Hansuko stood alone in the room. He clasped his hands tightly, his knuckles turning white. I'm such an idiot. Han Suko buried his face in his arms, his body trembling slightly with suppressed emotion. I wanted to help. Inshan, whose smiling face appeared in his mind. I'll be counting on you from now on. You're the only one I can turn to. I want to grant all your wishes. Ansukus feasts sudanli klansha. Please don't be disappointed in me. Inshan, who ran down the magnificent corridor, his footsteps echoing in the empty space. Since I can't force that little lamb, only Park Ianu is left. He repeated the name over and over. Park Ianu, Park Ian. You, Park Ianu. A voice called out, hello. Inshan, who looked up, a hint of confusion on his face. 3 girls were standing there with a condescending air. The green-haired girl in the middle had her arms crossed, a playful look in her eyes. I have something to discuss with you. Can you come with me for a moment? She smiled, extending the invitation. Inshan, whose pupils instantly turned into hearts, and a blush spread across his cheeks. Oh my God, she's so beautiful. The girls looked at him, stunned. What kind of reaction is this? Faint music could be heard from the lavish restroom. Inshan, who was pushed inside, and the door slammed shut behind him. A girl said contemptuously, he's such an idiot. Another girl covered her mouth and snickered. He actually followed us so obediently. Inshan, who looked bewildered. He covered his mouth, his cheeks flushed. What a shame. I thought you were asking me out. The green-haired girl crossed her arms. Are you kidding me? She snorted. You're Inshan, right? Inshan nodded. Yes, the green-haired girl said impatiently. You know why we called you here, don't you? Inshan, who moved closer to her, looking directly into her eyes. I have no idea. The green-haired girl said scornfully. I've seen too many commoners who dream of climbing the social ladder. You people are all the same. After all, where else but here could you meet them? Those people you can only look up to from the bottom. Her finger gently traced Inshan, whose cheek. No wonder you become so greedy. But you seem to have forgotten. You were born into an incompetent and poor family. You only got in by a fluke, thanks to a little magic talent. You should be studying hard, not fantasizing about climbing to a class you can never reach. They say you're a lunatic. It seems you're nothing special after all. I've said my piece. She let go of him and turned to leave. Inshan, who stood alone on the spot. He crossed his hands over his chest, his cheeks burning, and his heart wouldn't stop pounding. Pretty people even smell so good. Miss, where did you buy your perfume? She even praised me for being the only commoner on a scholarship. Said I have exceptional magic talent. She's totally my type. This setup is exactly like in the novels. This proves I'm the main character. Flames of fighting spirit ignited around him, his eyes determined. Bring it on. A capable, cute, pretty, and sexy protagonist for the mission. Inshan, who will take care of everything. A true Korean high school student, even when in a hurry. That will not skip class. Inshan, who burst into the classroom, only to find Park Ianu's seat empty. Where did that bastard Park Ianu go? He's actually not in the classroom. Han Suko was trembling at the side. Inshan, who rushed out of the classroom. There's not much time left. I have to find Park Ianu to survive. Time remaining, 2 hours and 32 minutes. He ran wildly across the campus, searching for his target. He stopped by a balcony. Are the swordsmanship classes held separately? On the training grounds, students were sparring intensely. The clash of blades rang out continuously. Inshan, who thought, no wonder I couldn't find him. Park Ianu must be over there. I'll head over right now. The magnificent Swordsmanship Academy was bathed in sunlight, a rainbow stretching across the sky. A student complained, even for the swordsmanship department, making us train all day is too much. Another agreed, exactly. The surroundings suddenly fell silent. A figure walked alone across the training grounds. Behind him were fallen students, unable to get up. The man's eyes were closed, a hint of relief on his lips. When he's not around, the world is so peaceful. The North is in a constant state of war. Marauders run rampant there, and the threat of beasts never ceases. It has never stopped. To protect the Empire, we cannot let our guard down for a moment. Park Ianu was drying his wet hair, water droplets sliding down the lines of his muscles. Steam filled the lavish room. He whipped his head around. With a loud bang, the wooden door was punched through, sending splinters flying everywhere. Park Ianu turned around warily. In Shanhu grinned, his eyes fervent. Found you. In Shanhu peeked out furtively from behind the door. The security in the boys' dorm is no joke. I almost died. Park Inu roared, "Get out, you monster. This is the boys' dormitory." In Shanhu said in a cutesy voice, "Oh dear, did someone take a wrong turn? If you don't let me in, I'll get caught." Park Inu tried to close the door. "Then hurry up and leave before you get caught." He couldn't close the door even with all his strength. "What is all this? Who is this woman?" In Shanhu squeezed through the gap in the door. "It's a matter of life and death. I can't just give up. Excuse my rudeness." His tongue shot out and licked the back of Park Inu's hand. Park Inu flung him off in horror. In Shanhu instantly rushed in. Park Inu stared at him in disbelief. What the hell? He pinned In Shanhu against the wall. The phantom of a fierce tiger appeared behind him, his eyes ice cold. How utterly unreasonable. Commoner. In Shanhu was pressed tightly against his chiseled pecs. His mind went blank. What? Park Inu questioned, barging into a stranger's room without permission. Your carelessness is suspicious. What exactly is your motive? In Shanhu's face turned red. Do I look that smart? Besides, you're not a stranger. Park Inu let go. So annoying. In Shanhu took a deep breath. Sorry for barging in, but it's an emergency. He held up 2 fingers, gesturing. Just 2 hours. He opened his arms. I'm giving you the chance to hug an adorable, beautiful girl. Park Inu's voice was like ice. Get out. In Shanhu was in disbelief. Why? Why wouldn't you hug me? He started rolling on the floor like a child throwing a tantrum. Park Inu's mouth twitched. A noble lady rolling on the floor. Have you completely failed to realize I'm a man? He found himself quickly adapting to this absurdity. In Shanhu was crying and wailing on the floor, kicking his legs. Park Inu's voice was flat. Give up. I will never hug you or touch you. The vision I saw, then, was extremely unpleasant. In Shanhu's crying came to an abrupt stop. He stood up. You think those visions weren't unpleasant for me too? He looked directly at him. I'm also scared of that mission that threatens to kill everyone, including you. This world where no one remembers me. It's all too terrifying. His body trembled slightly, but I have no other choice. He suddenly fell backward, whether in a modern world or now. If you're really the Park Inu I know. Park Inu caught him steadily. Pulling him in his arms, he said, Are you crazy? What if I hadn't caught you? In Shanhu looked up from his embrace, beaming. I knew it would be you. He lay in Park Inu's arms. Let's try fainting now. The room was silent. In Shanhu's eyes snapped open. Why am I not fainting? Not even a little dizzy? He grabbed his hair in confusion. Why am I not fainting? Park Inu mused. It seems even he doesn't understand the current situation. His hands suddenly trembled. Oh no, I was in such a panic I forgot to get dressed properly. In Shanhu heard a strange noise. Are you okay? Did your stomach get cold again? You're half naked. No wonder your stomach hurts if you're sensitive to the cold. Park Inu curled up. It's because of you. In Shanhu pulled the blanket over him. Okay, lie down first. Last time was bad enough. He looked confused, his expression blank. Why is the blanket cold? Didn't you turn on the electric blanket? Park Inu's thoughts were cold. He gritted his teeth. He acts like he's known me for a long time, but he's seeing someone else in his eyes. This woman is so audacious. He suddenly grabbed In Shanhu's wrist. Who do you see in me? His voice was low and dangerous. Does he get stomach aches and feel the cold too? In Shanhu was stunned. What? Park Inu continued. How deep is his mark on you that you can take care of me so skillfully? In Shanhu was flipped over and pressed onto the bed, his hands firmly pinned and unable to move. This was an extremely unpleasant experience. Park Inu looked down at In Shanhu. Look closely. I'm not so kind as to treat anyone as a substitute. I'm not that kind of person. In Shanhu's wrists were held in a death grip. He was shocked to find he couldn't move his hands at all. Was the strength gap always this big? In Shanhu screamed while holding a popsicle. I said that's mine, you idiot. Park Inu roared, this is my house, I bought it. His face was bright red. Does it become yours just because you drooled on it? Stop talking nonsense and give it to me, or I'll get angry. In Shanhu stuck out his long tongue. Last time you secretly drank my chocolate milk. We're even. Park Inu's face instantly turned red, overwhelmed with shame. In Shanhu looked bewildered. He used to be weaker than me. Was he pretending to lose to me all this time? In Shanhu fell into self-doubt. Really? Park Inu got up. Enough. You should go back. He stood with his back to him, muscles tense. In Shanhu sat on the bed, looking at his broad back. He walked to the door. Make sure you stay warm. I'll deal with the door later. Park Inu sat on the edge of the bed in silence. In Shanhu sighed. The Duke is right, but I can't control myself. I still can't separate the Duke from the novel and the real Park Inu. He's lost his memories, but is he still the same person? Or has he become someone completely different? If I admit he's different, it's as if I've truly been left alone in this world. That's too scary. Inshanhu jumped down from the windowsill. In his eyes, I must look like an ill-mannered commoner. I didn't expect him to be so cold. Considering the class system here, I'm lucky my head is still attached. He climbed over the railing, and his phone slipped from his pocket, falling into the grass. Inshanhu knelt on the grass, holding the phone in both hands. Please don't be broken. There's nowhere to fix a phone in this world. It doesn't look like a phone anymore, but as long as I can get back to the real world, it should return to normal. The phone suddenly vibrated in his palm. Inshanhu froze. Why is it vibrating so hard? It's a little creepy. The phone screen lit up. Hello, executor. He was teary-eyed. You have no idea how long I've waited for you. I am Yuck. Inshanhu had a mental breakdown. What the hell is going on with this world? The screen went dark, completely unresponsive. Inshanhu howled at the sky. You bastard. What kind of phone just dies like that? He walked through the courtyard. All right, the phone suddenly moved and even talked to me. I must be too tired and hallucinating. Just in case, I should take it with me. If I complete the missions, maybe I can return to the original world, or uncover the secrets of this world. The system didn't show anything yesterday. Why? His thoughts were a mess. Are there missions without rewards? If so, tell me in advance. Don't get my hopes up for nothing. How can I focus on class like this? The instructor's voice came from a distance. The formula explanation is complete. Let's begin practice. Turn to page 235. Cast the spell. Inshanhu sat in the back of the classroom, hearing everything clearly. Magic class is awesome. Even the theory is so interesting. People always like doing what they're good at. He propped his chin on his hand. Witness my power. A faint wisp of magic rose and then dissipated. He looked bewildered. What happened? Inshanhu's face was full of confusion. The female lead can't be this much of a failure. Did I rush through the theory too quickly? Hansuko had appeared beside him at some point. He asked softly, what's the problem? He explained, it's because the formulas are too similar. Combine the formulas. He took Inshanhu's hand, adjusting his posture. When casting, your hand should be like this. A stream of water gathered in the air, forming complex, magical runes. Both of them were stunned by the sight. Inshanhu's eyes sparkled. You're amazing. Your explanation was so clear. Ansukustsaks flusha. It's no big deal. Inshanhu stared at him. Are you shy? The genius tower master, Hansuko. Hansuko turned his head away. After making a friend, I wanted to teach others, so I practiced a few times on my own. His gaze shifted. Actually, I'm happier that I finally got a chance to explain it. Inshanhu looked at him. He looks so aloof, yet he wants to make friends and even practices alone in a corner. He's so cute. The surrounding students turned to look. A student raised his hand. Hansuko-sensei, can you teach me a formula too? Hansuku froze. The students instantly crowded around. Me too. I've been stuck for a month. Mine is from a year ago. Hansuko sat rigidly in his chair, his body tense. Inshanhu leaned in to observe. He was like this during the hug too, as expected of the tower master. He's the ultimate socially anxious person. He closed his eyes. It's fine as long as he's cute. Inshanhu held out a hand. Can you all back up a bit? He placed his palm over Hansuko's eyes. Our soft chocolate milk bread is about to be overwhelmed. Inshanhu released an astonishing aura. His eyes glowed red. Get lost. Hansuko trembled. Inshanhu, my handsome hero. Inshanhu and Hansuko sat on a bench. Hansuko spoke first. Thanks for your help earlier. Inshanhu's voice was soft. This isn't the first time someone has spoken ill of me. Don't worry, I'm used to it, he said with a smile, his cheeks slightly pink. Everyone has things they find difficult. For me, it's math. Ansuku's gaza suftanat. I find it hard to talk to people, but for some reason, I feel comfortable with you. Inshanhu's cheeks reddened. Really? He's so cute, he thought. Hansuko lowered his head. I grew up in the Magic Tower. The Magic Tower is isolated from the world, with little contact with the outside. The mages inside are usually immersed in their own research, indifferent to the outside world. It was by no means a suitable environment for a child to grow up in. A small Hansuko was buried under a pile of books. Is it because I grew up in a place like that? That's why I get nervous so easily. Even everyday conversations feel difficult. If only my magic were stronger. If only I were smarter. I thought everything would get better. But in the end, that wall just grew higher and higher. A lonely Hansuko stood by a high wall made of books. Outside the wall were blurry figures, an insurmountable chasm. In Shan-hu reached out his hand, passing through the high wall of books, and pulled the lonely Han Suko out. Han Suko's cheeks were bright red. Anyway, I think that's why I feel comfortable with you. In Shan-hu gently stroked his hair. Be careful. You'll get kidnapped for being this cute. Han Suko suddenly remembered something. Oh, right. Didn't we agree to uncover the Academy's secrets? In Shan-hu gave a thumbs up. I knew you hadn't forgotten. I got so busy with missions that I forgot all about it. Han Suko said, after our promise, I looked around the Academy to see if I could help. Besides the Academy entrance, there's only one other place. He stood atop a high wall, overlooking the entire Academy. A place where I could feel magic. I felt a complex formula. I managed to decipher a little of it. A pillar of light shot into the sky. A complex blue magic circle unfolded in the air. Runes flickered and energy surged. Han Suko stared at the circle, his eyes under his hood glowing purple. In Shan-hu was puzzled. A magic circle? Han Suko's expression was grave. That's not something made of just one or two formulas. It's more like someone's obsession, layered over many years. It feels unsettling. This is very likely the reason we can't leave the Academy. In Shan-hu's mind raced. Is this the same magic circle I saw as a mission reward? The only difference is that in the vision, there were students' bodies under the magic circle. Although their clothes were different, the students in the vision were the students from the Academy. It must be. Han Suko guessed. Their faces were identical. In Shan-hu said, I'm telling you, this academy is fake. That world with the different school uniforms is the real one. Han Suko said to me that this place is reality. In Shan-hu leaned in close to him. I'm the only one who remembers the modern world. Your memories have been erased too, haven't they? Ansukus tex flusha. Yes, I don't remember hearing about the modern world for the first time. In Shan-hu sighed. I should have expected it, but I'm still a little disappointed. Han Suko asked timidly, did I do something wrong? In Shan-hu lowered his eyes. No, I guess not. He suddenly grabbed Han Suko's wrist. But if we can decipher that magic circle, you might get your memories back. The light returned to his eyes. He clasped his hands tightly. I believe we can definitely do it. Han Suko's face instantly turned beet red. In Shan-hu said solemnly, although I'm still a novice, I think I have a talent for magic. Let's work together to crack it. He suddenly realized. I just told the magic tower master that I'd help him crack a magic circle. He clasped his hands. I'm physically strong and have quick reflexes. Besides magic, if you need any help, just ask. Han Suko said, then stay by my side. I don't know when I'll need help. If we're always together, it'll be easier to share information. He waved his hands in a fluster. I don't mean anything else by it. In Shan-hu smiled. What's so hard about that? He leaned close to Han Suko, looking at his flushed face. Except for the restroom, I'll stick to you constantly. Han Suko shouted in alarm. You want to go to the restroom with me too? Absolutely not. After that, In Shan-hu and Han Suko studied magic in the library. Or rather, it was more like Han Suko giving him one-on-one tutoring. A muscular instructor stood on the steps. He spread his arms and shouted, it's time for the long-awaited physical training. A healthy body nurtures healthy magic and aura. Rookies, pair up. Ever heard of sit-ups? We'll be doing those. In Shan-hu raised his chin proudly. I have a partner now, too. But the instructor yelled, student, put more effort into it. Han Suko was held down by a student's legs, his body writhing in pain on the mat like a dying fish. In Shan-hu's gaze was drawn elsewhere. Those amazing six-pack abs didn't belong to the cute Han Suko. He was sitting face-to-face with Park Ianu. The atmosphere was charged. In Shan-hu's cheeks instantly burned. So this is the person I've been staring at. Park Ianu shouted earnestly, count properly. In Shan-hu replied distractedly, yes, yes. He grumbled to himself, nothing to see here. Not even a rat would look twice. He thought with a pout, a look of anger on his face. Can't they just give me a mission to annoy this guy? Speaking of which, I haven't received any missions since the day my phone acted up. Is there usually such a long gap between missions? Why is it so useless? It's so frustrating. He slumped to the ground with a long sigh. It's not like a real game. I don't get items, and it doesn't show any favorability levels. What on earth am I supposed to do? Park Ianu lay on the mat, arms behind his head, his abs clearly defined. In Shan-hu roared internally. Doesn't this guy get stomachaches all the time? Why does he love showing off so much? He leaned forward. If it weren't for the fact that he's Park Ianu, those abs are actually pretty nice. Park Ianu clutches his stomach. Pervert, your gaze is too brazen. In Shan-hu looks away. He counts expressionlessly, like a machine. Han Suko softly calls out, Shan-hu. In Shan-hu turns his head. He thinks, so cute. Inshan, who lets out a cry. He's forcefully pushed down onto the mat by Park Ianu. He lies on the mat, a look of terror on his face. What the hell? Park Ianu expressionlessly holds down his ankles. Focus. It's your turn. Inshan, who yells in frustration. You could have just said so. Why did you have to throw me down like you're shaking out a blanket? Are you showing off your abs? Are you ignoring me? You think I'm easy to bully, right? So annoying. Park Ianu turns his face away, completely ignoring him. His gaze meets Han Suko's. He immediately turns back. So annoying. Inshan, whose face is inches away. Their noses are almost touching. The air freezes instantly. A blush spreads across Park Ianu's cheeks. A strange light glimmers in his eyes. Inshan, whose eyes are dazed. He suddenly snaps out of it, lying on a mat. What was that just now? Park Ianu points at Inshan, whose open collar. He reaches out his hand. Commoner, your clothes. Inshan, whose face turns bright red. He glares at Park Ianu. Pervert, is time up? How many did I do? Park Ianu hesitates. Inshan, who angrily questions him. You said you'd count properly. Were you just talking to yourself? Let's just say I did 50. Park Ianu says coldly, you really have no self-control. Han Suko leans in close, his cheeks flushed. I counted. It was 24. Inshan, who wails internally. It would have been fine if he just said 50. Han Suko hastily takes a step back. Sorry. He softly invites. Do you want to do the rest of the exercises with me? Inshan, who asks curiously, can I? What about your partner? Han Suko smiles and says, we're just swapping partners. It should be fine. Park Ianu grabs Inshan, whose wrist. Nonsense. There's no reason to change assigned partners. This person is my partner. Inshan, who looks bewildered. Wasn't I just tossed aside like a peach? Park Ianu looks coldly at Han Suko. You go back to your partner. His gaze is cold and sharp. That is your place. A flash of hurt appears in Han Suko's eyes. He looks straight at him. Inshan, who looks at Han Sukoku. He softly reassures him. It's okay. My partner is a bit of a loser, but I do have one. Thanks for your help. Suko, you should hurry back to your spot. It'll be trouble if we get caught. Ansukus tagsflush. He whispers. If you need me later, remember to call me. Inshan, who laughs heartily. Got it, Mr. Wan Gao. The instructor's voice rings out. All right, everyone, brace yourself for the next pose. This time, it's the Eastern pose, the Shala pose. Inshan, who protests. Why are you pulling me like you're pulling up a radish? Park Ianu scrutinizes him. So skinny. Inshan, whose hackles rise instantly. He flexes his arm to show his muscle. Commoners have muscles too. Park Ianu comments expressionlessly. For someone who can violently smash a door, you're too skinny. Inshan, who freezes. You were just thinking something rude, weren't you? A 16-year childhood friend's intuition. Two blurry dark figures seem to be whispering. Inshan, who turns on the faucet. The water gushes out. Surviving in this fantasy world is so damn hard. Embarrassing images from training flash through his mind. Being picked up, being thrown down. Being lifted high. Suddenly, a whole bucket of cold water pours down from above, drenching him to the bone. Water drips from the ends of his hair. He's soaked to the skin, shivering. A voice rings out, ah, sorry. My hand slipped, accompanied by suppressed snickers from the surroundings. Inshan, who slowly raises his head, his eyes cold. You motherf. A bully sneers. I said it was a mistake. Are you unhappy about it? Look at him trying so hard. Someone like you. No matter how hard you try, what can you accomplish? Why don't you call over those nobles you're sucking up to? Meanwhile, that so-called noble, Han Suko, is surrounded by a group of students. Suko, teach me this for. Not Mula. A green-haired girl grabs Park Ianu's hand. With eyes like yours, how about becoming an academy professor? They look at Inshan, who, with contempt. In this sacred institution, all he thinks about is climbing up. It's just like a commoner's greed. Teaching a commoner a lesson is also a noble's duty. Isn't it? A boy whispers to his companion. Are those noble ladies looking at us? His companion replies excitedly. Yeah, they're looking. Inshanu's rage transforms into a roaring white tiger. Should I kill them or let them live? In this story's setting, I'm a commoner. A blue light flashes. The mission window appears. Inshan frowns. It's been gone for so long. Now, it suddenly appears with a mission that has no failure penalty. Like a tragic heroine, seek help. Mission reward, unknown. Mission failure, no penalty. Is this mission window crazy? What on earth should I do? The corners of his mouth lift uncontrollably. A bully shouts in astonishment. You can still laugh in a situation like this? He ponders. Does he have some kind of trump card? The mocking laughter of noble girls comes from behind. A man steps forward. Who do you think you are? Do you need me, a noble among nobles, to teach you a lesson? He points at In Shanhu and yells, "Stop stirring up trouble. If you can only use magic, then hurry up and drop out." The man is stunned. Looking at him now, this commoner is quiet. In Shanhu uses magic. To hell with the mission. As long as I don't get expelled, it's fine. No penalty means I can do whatever I want, right? A bully says, trembling. Using unauthorized magic on campus will get you a demerit. You think we don't use it because we can't? In In Shanhu's hand, a huge mass of water gathers. Then use it. Another bully screams in terror. What is this scale? Mine can only inherit. A giant wave overturns the bullies. They let out piercing screams. A female student says softly, "My God, what a ridiculous scene." A bully exclaims. That commoner dares to fight back against discrimination. The green-haired woman looks disdainful. A group of noble men ganging up on one person, and a woman at that. The Empire's chivalry is truly dead. She says with her arms crossed, her eyes cold. That thing around your neck is no noble's accessory. You might as well walk around naked. After saying this coldly, she turns and leaves. The bully is flustered. Yuzhen, this is all a misunderstanding. He kneels on the ground, crying his eyes out, and slams his fist on the ground. It's all because of that commoner. Yuzhen misunderstood me. You just wait. I'll definitely make you drop out of your own accord. In Shanhu gives him the middle finger and slowly walks away. Water drips from the ends of his soaked hair. His body is cold. He walks step by step down the long corridor. A student sneers, "What's with the water? Don't commoners even have a change of clothes?" How pathetic. In Shanhu ignores the pointing and whispering behind him. It's fine. This was the original female protagonist's setup anyway. It's just a setup. This isn't my school. They aren't my friends either. He closes his eyes tightly. It's no big deal. Really, it's nothing. He slowly opens his eyes. Eunice is looking down at him, his eyes filled with confusion. You look truly pathetic. In Shanhu forces a stiff smile. It's a bit hot today. It's a kind of traditional commoner's game. Something like that. He turns to leave. Excuse me. I'll be going now. Eunice grabs his arm. In Shanhu turns back in shock. What are you doing? Eunice leads him down the corridor, opens a door, and brings him into a room. He stops. I enjoy a date now and then, but I'm a little busy right now. In Shanhu is dripping with his wet hair. Eunice throws a towel at his face. Take it. There can't be any drowned rats in the academy. Dry yourself off before you leave. Don't get the wrong idea. In Shanhu is a bit stunned. Thanks. Can you leave me alone for a bit? I need to change. Eunice glances at him. I'll be outside. He stands at the door. The sound of sobbing is heard. In Shanhu covers his face with the towel. Eunice is annoyed internally. You say you like me. You act like you can't live without me. But when you really need me. He pins In Shanhu against the wall, leans in, and stares at him. Tell me you need help. Why didn't you come to me? In Shanhu looks up at him. It's not the first time a commoner has been treated like this. He covers his face. I taught them a lesson myself. I also don't understand why you're suddenly acting like this. Eunice's gaze darkens. I don't know why someone like you makes me feel this way either. In Shanhu abruptly lifts his head, forcing a bright smile. I'm Fine. I'm just learning in advance how to survive in this cruel world. This has also ignited my revolutionary spirit to fight against this meaningless class system. He bursts out laughing. Eunice looks at him, stunned. This isn't naive cheerfulness. He closes his eyes and lets out a long sigh. He presses the towel against In Shanhu's face. Then he whispers in his ear, "Why am I doing this? You seem to have forgotten I'm the student council president. Nothing I do is for you. So, ask me for help." His mind is screaming, damn it. Why am I making this kind of excuse? In Shanhu slowly speaks. If I ask for help, he trembles. If I ask for help, what will change? They'll just bully me even more viciously where I can't see. This is the world of a novel. I can't even leave the campus. The police won't come. The only adults are the teachers, and I can't trust them at all, because they're nobles too. I can feel their contemptuous gazes. It's ridiculous. Whether in reality or here, when have I ever asked for help? And when have I ever received it? I'm going to change now. Do you want to keep watching? Eunice's face instantly flushes red. Who's the pervert now? He spins around abruptly. Hurry up and change. In Shanhu says softly, "Thank you for your help." Eunice stands outside the door. Even if he doesn't accept my help. In Shanhu sits on the floor and sighs wearily. Why did it have to be me? Wouldn't it be better if it were one of those smarter kids? What should I do? What can I even do? He collapses weakly onto the floor. I want to go home. A blue light flashes. The mission window unfolds before him. Mission successful. Distributing reward. Reward distribution in progress. Long sure. In Shanhu's eyes widen. Long sure? What kind of stupid name is that? He falls to the ground and lets out a scream. a phone suddenly appears. Hello there, traveler. It's great to see you again. Last time, I was incorrectly ejected due to incompatibility. Thanks to you completing the mission, I was able to recover quickly. Inshanhu is furious. Damn it, you put me through hell and call it an error? Where does this confidence come from? The phone is unconcerned. I am the school's guardian spirit, Longsure. Nice to meet you. You must have been confused waking up here all alone. I'll be helping you from now on. Inshanhu holds out his hand. Guardian spirit? What do you mean? Longsure takes his hand. No need to be so formal between us. This isn't the place he used to live. Inshanhu looks disgusted. I know. This is the world of a novel I was reading on my way to school. Longsure loudly retorts, yes and no. This isn't an illusion, but a real, existing world. You are real, and so are your friends. Inshanhu's pupils constrict. Are you saying everyone at school was transported here together? Longsure nods. That's right, but no one remembers. The reason all this happened is because this world made the first move. As a reward, I showed you the magic circle above the school. A giant blue magic circle covers the entire campus. So those images you saw as a reward were all things that really happened. Only you survived. Inshanhu's voice is choked with tears. Why only me? Longsure explains, because you were the only one with one foot inside. Thanks to that, you survived. It was a stroke of luck. Inshanhu thinks back. Everyone was so warm. He lifts his eyes. Everyone died except for me. Inshanhu curls up on the floor. How do I get out of here? What should I do? Mom, Dad. Longsure suddenly speaks. Shanhu, my goal is to collect the power you gain from completing missions and then return to a time before any of this happened. Inshanhu lifts his teary eyes. Return to a time before any of this happened? Longsure answers affirmatively. That's right. Back to when everyone was still alive. Images flash through his memory. Friends laughing, surrounding him. Longsure raises his arms and exclaims, so you must help me. A sliver of hope ignites in Inshanhu's heart. Can I go back to the past? Back to where I lived? Back to where everyone is? Photos appear before his eyes. A family photo and photo booth pictures with friends. Inshanhu lifts his tear-streaked face, his eyes determined. Tell me, what do I have to do? Longsure replies, the same thing you've been doing. Just complete the missions. He is held in Inshanhu's palm. Thanks to you completing the mission, my power has grown stronger too. Longsure proudly shows off. Quick, look at my muscles. He announces loudly, all right, self-introduction and situation briefing complete. The mission window pops up again. New mission. Gain the student council president's approval. Longsure says, all right, I'm counting on you. As long as you complete the missions, you can go back to the past. Inshanhu clenches his fists. The pressure is too much. I am scared. Sweat drips from his chin. But I won't die. I'm the protagonist. His long hair flows under the starry sky. His gaze incredibly determined. I will give this story a happy ending. Yunus peeks his head through the crack in the door. What's taking so long? Inshanhu whips his head around. I want to repay you. Yunus looks impatient. No need. I told you it wasn't for you. Inshanhu follows behind him. Even magpies repay kindness. Why won't you let me repay you? Yunus stops. What magpies? I said no. Inshanhu falls to the ground. I'm not leaving until I've repaid you. Yunus thinks to himself, this kid is crazy. I'll just give him some work to get rid of him. Just clean the student council room. Inshanhu's eyes light up. Yes. A moment later. President, I've finished cleaning. Yunus looks at the completely trashed room, momentarily speechless. Inshanhu leans in. Is there anything else I can do? Yunus clutches his forehead. Get out. Inshanhu hugs his leg. I beg you, please give me one more chance. Yunus hands over a stack of documents. You can write, can't you? Organize these meeting minutes by topic. Inshanhu takes the documents. Got it. He organizes them with great confidence, but the documents become a crumpled mess in his hands. Yunus snatches the documents back. He roars, forget it. You can't do anything right. He throws the documents forcefully into the air. Papers fly everywhere. I might as well just make you my attendant. Inshanhu quietly circles behind him and starts massaging his shoulders. As expected of His Highness, the Crown Prince. A true eye for talent. Using people properly. Yunus lets out a satisfied groan. So comfortable. He suddenly snaps out of it. Don't touch my body. Inshanhu asks, is it comfortable? Yunus with his eyes closed. Not bad. He swirls the liquid in his cup. This kid might not be so strange after all. So relaxing. Yunus will soon pay a heavy price for this thought. His Highness the Crown Prince has arrived. Make way. A guard announces loudly. Inshanhu kneels on the red carpet. The path is clear. He shouts, for our fair-skinned Crown Prince. Our Highness Eunice is bathing. In Shanhu comes forward. Your Highness, I prepared your towel and clothes. Eunice shouts sharply, get away. In Shanhu sits by the bed. He reads a story. Once upon a time, there was a girl named Konji. Eunice can't take it anymore. Enough. Just how far are you planning to go? You're a strange lunatic. A glint flashes in In Shanhu's eyes. Reward mission completed. Reward distributed. Reward. Emotion display skill activated. Blinking reveals the target's emotions. In Shanhu squeezes his eyes shut and blinks hard. Like this? Eunice shudders. Blinking? What is he trying to do? I don't know what he's doing, but it's just annoying. In Shanhu clenches his fists. I can see it. I can see his emotions. He's angry. In Shanhu's cheeks flush. I finally got an ability. Even his angry emoji is so cute. Eunice's hand suddenly grabs the back of his collar. He yanks him back. In Shanhu is thrown off balance. He looks at the blue screen in front of him. By the way, what's the use of this skill? What does it have to do with the male lead's mood? Skill unlocked. Can view status window. Level 2 low. Information restricted. He reaches out and touches the screen. Status window, level, information. A blue screen appears out of thin air. Name, In Shanhu. Rebecca Swedlin. In Shanhu panics. What is this? I've only read romance novels, not modern fantasy or game novels. He grabs Longshore. You have to at least explain what this is. A shout comes from the hallway. Why is there a girl's voice in the boys' dormitory? In Shanhu is startled. Gotta run first. He quickly runs back to his room. Night envelopes the magnificent dormitory building. In Shanhu sits on his bed and questions Longshore. Why aren't you answering? Longshore lies beside him without a sound. In Shanhu clenches his fist. I really should. Longshore suddenly sits up. Slept so well. In Shanhu roars. Explain yourself. Longshore is startled by his dark aura and trembles all over. Whoa. In Shanhu points at the blue screen. What are these achievements? And what's this status abnormality? Longshore sighs. Looks like it's time to explain. Do you remember what I said? I will use the power from your completed missions to turn back time. In Shanhu's memory flashes back. Yes. Longshore shows 2 merging worlds. Using the power you collect from me, I will separate the world that is being devoured by another world and restore it to its original state. He suddenly flexes his muscles and forcefully tears the 2 worlds apart. And then, turn back time. In Shanhu sits on the bed. You said I just had to complete the missions. So what is this status window? Longshore explains, I made the status window easier to read, but it seems something went wrong. It's like they don't want you to see the ending. Garbled text and warnings appear on the screen, but it doesn't matter. As long as you reach the romance ending, you can go back. Don't worry, I'll help you complete the missions. As soon as I see a hint of romance, I'll issue a mission to send you straight to the ending. In Shanhu mutters to himself, the novel's ending. That's right, this world. This is the novel I read. A magnificent white castle bathes in the morning light. The story is set in an academy. The Crown Prince, the Northern Duke, and the Magic Tower Master, 3 men, simultaneously pursue the commoner female protagonist. The male lead is the Crown Prince. Near graduation, the 2 confirm their feelings for each other, and the novel ends there. In Shanhu sits on the bed. The current situation is completely different from the novel. He grips the bedsheet tightly. But since it's a romance ending, it's not too bad. As long as I date one of the 3, then I can go back. Longshore yawns. All right, I'm out of power, gotta sleep. In Shanhu grabs him. First, tell me what the achievements and status abnormality are. They weren't mentioned in the novel. He pinches Longshore's body. It's soft and squishy. Memories surface, being bullied, being betrayed, being isolated. So I have to endure everything alone. He clutches Longshore in his hand, his cheeks flushing. I want to run away. In the distance, the Academy's clock tower stands silent in the morning light. Hansuku Stephens. A bead of sweat slides down his temple. In Shanhu gives a playful wink. Hansuko looks at him. Did you get something in your eye? In Shanhu leans on the table. No. A blush appears on Han Suko's face. You're not hurt, are you? In Shanhu responds coolly. You're so politely rude. Why can't I see it? He blinks hard. Skill cannot be used. Han Suko's cheeks turn redder. Skill use has been cancelled. In Shanhu suddenly leans in close. The skill won't work. Why? Han Suko's face is flushed. Do I have a fever? In Shanhu watches his approaching hand, his heart skipping a beat. Hansuko asks gently, does it hurt? He looks concerned. Did something get in your eye? Should I blow on it for you? His cheeks flush. Should we go to the infirmary? If you can't open it, I'll help you walk. Inshanhu closes his eyes tightly. What's wrong with my blinking? He turns his head to the side and says softly to Hansuko, it doesn't hurt. I just learned a new skill, but suddenly stopped working. Inshanhu's face gets even closer. Hansuko takes a sharp step back, his cheeks bright red. Too close. I'm glad it doesn't hurt. Are skills different from magic? Is it a mana problem, or are there usage restrictions? Maybe there are special activation conditions. Inshanhu looks at his serious expression. You're even more serious about this than I am, Mr. Know-It-All. Hansuko is startled, his face flushing bright red. He stammers, sorry, I lost my composure. That nickname is a little embarrassing. Inshanhu nods. You might be right about the restrictions or conditions. There's a hint of approval in his tone. As expected of the Magic Tower Master, truly remarkable. Hansuko clasps his hands together, looking flattered. He stammers, thank you for the compliment. Two girls whisper in the distance. I want to talk to him too. Since they don't like me, I'll just endure it. That glare is too scary. Inshanhu looks at the two girls. Aren't they the water-splashing trio? The older boy looks gloomy. That commoner bastard ruined everything. Eunice faces the boys. The academy rules state that all students are equal. Have you all forgotten? A boy stammers, no. Eunice's gaze is icy. Then why were you bullying a fellow student? The student argues. That student was disrupting the class. He dared to sit between Lord Park Ianu and Lord Hansuko. He's not only noisy in class, but during breaks too. We were just disciplining this ill-mannered student. How can you call it bullying? We don't understand why we were called here over such a misunderstanding. A slight smile plays on Eunice's lips. So you were just disciplining him and were falsely accused. Is that it? The boys say in unison. That's right. Eunice's voice turns cold. In what empire? Is splashing someone with water considered discipline? The boys are aghast. Nothing like that ever happened. Eunice announced 14 demerit points, plus 25 hours of school service. Any contact with the victim is strictly forbidden. The boys were horrified. 14 points. Any more and they'd be expelled. One boy roared. The punishment is too harsh for bullying a mere commoner. Eunice's gaze turned cold. Mia, how dare you bring up status? The heir to a barony dares to talk back to the crown prince. How interesting. The boys were scared out of their wits. Damn it, there's no good end to offending the crown prince. But when did the gentle prince become so terrifying? Just making eye contact left me breathless. Anyway, it's all that bitch's fault. Inshanhu waved his small fists. Just for making eye contact. Looking at that guy's expression, I'll definitely get my revenge. Hansuko leaned in close. By the way, Shanhu, want to study skills together after school today? Inshanhu shook his head. Not for a while. I got school service for illegal use of magic. In the punishment room, clean the storage room for a week after school. A blue screen appeared before him. Towards the ending, Princess Night. Reward, memory fragment. Failed. Memory reset. Inshanhu's face twisted instantly. My intention to avoid the quest was too obvious. Memory reset sounds gentle, but it's actually complete erasure. Hansuko asked, puzzled, why did you use magic and get punished? Inshanhu feigned nonchalance. Something happened. Anyway, the storage room task will keep me busy. The bullying boys muttered. The storage room. Park Ina hid behind the stairs, his gaze sinister. Inshanhu turned and ran. So, let's do the skill research next time. If I'm not around tomorrow, come find me in the storage room, just in case. Death from overwork or fainting are classic tropes in romance novels. Hansuko reached out. Wait. He grabbed Inshanhu's sleeve, launching a puppy dog eye attack. Can't we go together? Inshanhu looked at him. He's busy, still trying to crack that magic circle. He gently patted Hansuko's hand away. See you tomorrow. Inshanhu skipped away, his figure disappearing into the sunlight. In the original novel, the heroine was tricked into the storage room. A man pushed her into the darkness, and the door shut behind her. She was trapped, desperately pounding on the door. Then the crown prince appeared and saved her. And so love blossomed. Inshanhu's eyes turned cold. Even if I get locked in, I can get out with magic. It doesn't matter. But just in case, I made some preparations. He hummed a cheerful tune, carrying his things towards the storage room. A horizontal blanket. A loud bang. The ground exploded. Inshanhu was thrown back by the shockwave. What? I almost died. He was still in shock. What happened? Inshanhu sprinted down the road. He hurriedly opened the storage room door. He collapsed onto the storage room floor, his body aching all over. I'm going to die. Did I enter the Demon King's castle instead of the storage room? He lay on the floor, exhausted. As long as I finish cleaning before the bad guys arrive. His eyes shot open. They're already here. He sat up. Two boys slammed the storage room door shut and promptly locked it. He roared through the crack in the door. You bitch, learn your place. A commoner almost got us expelled. Because of you. A green-haired girl suddenly appeared. Explain. The two boys were startled and quickly tried to explain. It's nothing serious. We just locked the door after cleaning the storage room. The green-haired girl fell into deep thought. She turned and left. The two boys breathed a sigh of relief. We almost got caught. Maybe she was too far away to hear. Let's get out of here. Inshanhu pressed against the door. It's exactly like in the novel. I'm on magical probation right now. I have to avoid using magic as much as possible. Longshore suddenly jumped out, slapping himself onto his face. What did you do? It's impossible for you to have caused this much destruction so quickly. Outside the storage room, the sky was filled with dark clouds, thunder, and lightning. A golden bolt of lightning struck down. Inshanhu's pupils contracted. He stood in the ruins. Impossible. The lightning had pierced through the ceiling. Longshore screamed in his ear, Shanhu, don't just stand there. Let's go, the fire is spreading. Inshanhu was pulled back to reality. He quickly focused his mind. First, summon water. A weak ball of water gathered in his hand. Then it dissipated with a pop. Inshanhu was in disbelief. The magic won't activate. He screamed in agony. I can't even use magic. This is so unfair. Longshore shouted, find oxygen first. Get down low. Inshanhu covered his mouth and nose with his clothes. Okay. Longshore suddenly said, I'm sorry. I can't stay with you. You'll be fine. Inshanhu knelt in the sea of fire. A loud noise came from outside the door. He called out weakly, is anyone out there? Open the door. The lock made a crisp, clicking sound. Yu Zhen, holding a broken wire cutter, was red in the face. Wait, I'm opening it. Those bastards actually locked someone inside. How pathetic can they be? She used all her strength to cut the lock. The lock won't open. Commoner, I've called for help, but attack magic isn't working. Can you hold on? Inshanhu covered his mouth and nose. Is it Yu Zhen's voice? Yu Zhen's voice came from outside the door, tinged with anger. What kind of question is that? What do you take me for? I'm not the kind of noble who would watch someone die over a small grudge. Inshanhu felt a scorching heat. When will the reinforcements arrive? I'm really going to die in here. The flames burned everything. He felt a wave of dizziness. There was no fire in the novel. Am I going to die here? This is ridiculous. I'm the protagonist. The protagonist doesn't die like this. Please, someone save me. In a flash of light, Park Ianu's figure appeared. He was soaking wet, his face filled with worry. Inshanhu weakly lifted his head. Park Ianu. Park Ianu rushed into the sea of fire and swept Inshanhu into his arms. You really? In his arms. Inshanhu was covered in injuries, unconscious. Towards the ending, Princess Knight. Reward. Inshanhu's memory fragment. Failed. Memory reset. Above the school, a giant magic circle hummed. As light poured down, students gathered below, looking up. A drone show? Suddenly, someone in the crowd screamed. What? A trembling hand held a phone. What is this? Why is this happening? Students fell to the ground one by one, their bodies turning to dust, leaving only skeletons behind. The giant magic circle in the sky emanated an otherworldly power. A small white cat stretched on the roof. Has the sun already set? It jumped up in horror, seeing students climbing the school gates like zombies. What the hell? Where are you all? Its pupils suddenly contracted. That thing. It looked around anxiously. Please, even if just one person is alive, that's enough. None of you are really alive. Wake up. Its gaze locked onto Inshanhu. That kid. Inshanhu was crying. Call an ambulance, quick. He didn't want to trouble that kind kid, the one who always gave him food. But as the school's guardian spirit, I have no choice. I am sorry, could. It leaped, its body emitting a dazzling golden light. I'm betting everything on you. Inshanhu's eyes snapped open, gasping for breath. Are these Longshore's memories? He curled up on the hospital bed. A hand reached out. Inshanhu quickly lay back down. Is it Park Ianu? That's right, he saved me. I can't look at him. If I see his face, I'll cry. Thank you for saving me. The words got stuck in his throat. He asked softly, where's Yu Zhen? She kept trying to wake me up. The door was so hot. She must have gotten burned. She needs treatment. Park Ianu's voice rang out coldly. Are you an idiot? He leaned down, close to Inshanhu's face. Inshanhu looked up. What? Park Ianu's eyes were icy. You should have used magic to escape when you knew there was a fire. You should have fought to survive. In Shanhu's tears broke free. I did resist. I pounded on the door and screamed for help like a madman. I tried to use magic, but it was useless. Park Ianu's anger froze instantly. What? You can't use magic? There's no anti-magic rule here. In Shanhu covered his face, sobbing. Now is not the time for questions. I'll investigate it myself. Park Ianu placed a hand on his shoulder. You inhaled a lot of smoke. Your throat will hurt. Get some rest. In Shanhu's trembling made his heart tighten. His voice held a trace of imperceptible gentleness. Is there anything I can do for you? In Shanhu shook his head. Nothing. You don't need to do anything. He held back his tears and forced a smile. Did you see the school burning? From a cat's perspective, Park Ianu tilted his head slightly. If you're referring to that, I saw it. In Shanhu's voice was soft. You don't seem surprised at all. I want to rest a little more. Your Highness should go back too. Park Ianu leaned forward eagerly. I'll stay. He reached out, wanting to touch him, but his hand stopped mid-air. He sat back in the chair. The storage room was burned down, but there are no more outdoor activities. The student council president is deciding the punishment for the arsonists. They might be expelled. Even if they are commoners, they endangered a life. In Shanhu lay on his side. That's good. Wait, no one can leave this school. What will happen to the expelled students? A flash of fear crossed his eyes. Don't tell me they'll die. Yujin stood in the room. I saw those students lock the storage room door. I heard they did it for revenge. She held out her bandaged hands. Even if the fire wasn't intentional, if they don't confess, I will step forward. I want to just punishment. I await your decision. Yunei bit his finger, drawing blood. Did I really not foresee this? I was too naive, thinking those despicable rats wouldn't fight back. I was too complacent. I was supposed to be perfect. Every decision should have been flawless. Because of my negligence as the crown prince, I almost got that strange boy killed. In Shanhu's brilliant smile flashed in her mind. Bright as light, I will make up for everything, leaving no room for anyone to complain. She spread her arms, her smile twisted and saintly. I must be more perfect than anyone else. The king sat upon his throne. I don't need an imperfect son. I will not pass the throne to an incompetent heir. Always remember, my eyes are everywhere. Eunice shuddered violently, as if the voice was right beside him. He wondered what was that bone-chilling sound. The voice didn't come from the door. A loud banging came from the window. Open the door, please. In Shanhu was frantically pounding on the window, his figure swaying on the glass. Eunice stared at him in astonishment. Why are you coming from there? Are you crazy? You were a patient from a fire just a moment ago. In Shanhu clumsily climbed through the window, his body unsteady. Eunice rushed to support him, shouting sternly, "This is not the time to talk about this. What could be more important than your health?" In Shanhu steadied himself. I heard the arsonists are going to be expelled. Is that true? Eunice turned to face him. Yes, it's been decided. It's a good thing for you, isn't it? A cold glint flashed in his eyes. It's a good thing for me, too. Their families are all part of the noble faction. Those three are heirs to families that are constantly eyeing the throne. Now is a good opportunity to publicly expose their incompetence. It's the perfect chance to completely crush their spirits. They might cease to exist. In Shanhu clenches fists. If they're expelled, they'll die. Eunice looked astonished. What? That's an exaggeration. In Shanhu's eyes were filled with fear. Although it hasn't been tested on people yet, objects thrown out have all disappeared. Eunice's expression grew serious. That's hard to believe. In Shanhu clasped his hands tightly. So please help me. Don't let them get kicked out. Everything that leaves the academy disappears. They will really die. I know it sounds crazy, but please listen to me. Eunice laughed. You're talking nonsense. Even if what you say is true, it's more beneficial for me to let them go. Why should I help you? But for now, I'll pretend to believe you. He reached out and gently held his fingertips. Although I don't quite understand, if I can be of help. In Shanhu's face lit up instantly. I knew your highness would understand. Thank you. Eunice's tone shifted. But why do you think that? In Shanhu's smile froze. How do I explain this? We're in a novel world. Leaving the school means death. Only by safely reaching the ending can we return to reality. His mind was a mess. Magic is wrong. The world is split in two. What was that called again? Eunice watched him with a blank expression. If you don't know, just say you don't know. In Shanhu immediately gave up struggling. Yes, I have absolutely no idea. Eunice's finger touched his lower lip. So you don't know the reason, but you know they'll die if they're expelled. In Shanhu exclaimed excitedly. You understand perfectly? Eunice said, I will consider a punishment other than expulsion. In Shanhu bowed deeply. Thank you. He looked up, his eyes shining. Senior, you're truly an angel. Eunice asked, is there anything else I can do for you? In Shanhu clasped his hands to his chest. This is more than enough. Eunice closed his eyes. All right, it's getting late. Rest well tonight. Inshanu nodded. Okay. He turned and said goodbye with a smile. Yune stood by the door. He gazed into the distance through the window pane, his eyes turning cold. Disappear if they leave? Has anyone left before? Inshanhu put his hands on his hips and puffed out his chest proudly. I even saved the villains. I really am the protagonist of a romance fantasy novel. With a ping, a blue quest box popped up before his eyes. Pop-up quest. Present a gift to the male lead who helped you to show your gratitude. How did it know I'm a life-saving romance fantasy heroine? And it even gave me this kind of quest. Inshanhu met Park Ianu in the courtyard. Inshanhu was a bit surprised. I didn't expect to see you here. It's like you were waiting for me. Park Ianu's face was expressionless. Nonsense. I was waiting for you. He took a step closer. Are you feeling okay? Inshanhu smiled and replied, I'm completely fine. By the way, I have something for you. He took something out from behind his back with a mysterious expression. He proudly held up a paper rose, a blush creeping onto his face. This is to thank you for saving me. A gift I folded myself. I can't afford expensive things, and I can't buy anything from outside, so this is all I could do. Park Ianu looked at him. I'm glad you're back to your noisy self. He pushed it away coldly. Take it. I don't need it. Inshanhu pouted and pulled his hand back. Then I'll give it to Senior Han Suko. Park Ianu clenched his fist. You're going to give my gift to him? Park Ianu glared at him. It's not polite to take back a gift you've already offered. Inshanhu retorted. Is it polite to call a gift someone carefully prepare this thing? The two started fighting over the paper rose. Park Ianu urged impatiently. Enough, just give it to me. Inshanhu's cheeks puffed out in anger. The Northern Grand Duke is so annoying. What should I do? Run. His mind made up, he turned and fled. Park Ianu watched him run away. Stop. Inshanhu ran for his life. He saw Han Suko's figure. A dark aura surrounded him. Inshanhu approached. Suko. Han Suko's lips parted slightly. Are you okay? Inshanhu was confused. Han Suko said, the warehouse you were in caught fire. I was terrified when I heard the news and rushed over. He sprinted down the forest path, his expression frantic. By the time he arrived, the warehouse was already a pile of scorched earth. You weren't there, and the warehouse was burned down. A lonely sound came from the pile of rubble. I called your name several times, but got no response. You told me something might happen there, and you only told me. In the end, I couldn't do anything. I heard from a Grand Duke later that you were unconscious from inhaling too much smoke. I betrayed your trust, Shanhu. I should have protected you. You're my everything. But I was careless. His voice choked. If I can't protect you again, I'll... Inshanhu leaned closer to him, his smile radiant. Look at me. I'm really okay. He winked. It seems to be working. Han Suko's face turned bright red, his eyes flustered. What? Inshanhu had a realization. It seems it only works when emotions are intense. Finally, a reward worthy of a fantasy novel. He held the paper rose out to him. Here, this is a gift for you. If I had gotten hurt, I wouldn't have been able to give it to you. Han Suko stammered as he took it. Thank you. I'll treasure it for the rest of my life. Reinforcement magic, so it never breaks. Sealing magic to preserve the scent. 5 layers of defense magic, so even a meteor can't smash it. Inshanhu was shocked. You don't have to go that far. Han Suko brought the paper rose to his lips, closed his eyes, and sniffed it gently, a blissful smile on his face. Inshanhu turned his face away. It's actually nothing special, but it feels good to have someone worry about me. Thank you. He closed his eyes in satisfaction, the corners of his mouth turning up. A blue screen unfolded before his eyes. Quest successful. You have become a heroine who understands responsibility. Inshanhu was a little dazed. Reward has been distributed. Acquired skill, body fortification. Strengthen your body. Slay Sarah. Conquer the world. Inshanhu's expression froze. The scene before him changed to an ancient eastern street. A crane circled in the air. Isn't this the wrong genre? Is the system bugged? Sorry, the genres got mixed up. Inshanhu covered his forehead. I've been tricked. Under a gloomy sky, a clock tower loomed. He pushed open an ornate door. I thought the warehouse fire incident was over and done with. I didn't expect to actually be punished. I'm a patient, for crying out loud. A strange man sat behind a pile of books. He spoke contemptuously. You just have to come here during breaks and follow my orders. Simple, right? Inshanhu looked confused. The strange man rambled on. First, throw this out, then come back and water the plants. Use my coat to borrow 30 textbooks from the library. Also, I'm hungry. Buy me a sandwich. No olive spread. Inshanhu hoisted a large bag of things. Kiss up to the professor. The strange man waved his hand impatiently. Why are you still here? In Shan-hu forced a stiff smile. He suppressed his anger, hoisted the package, and turned to leave. Han Suko appeared at the door out of nowhere. Shan-hu, he reached out. Give it to me. I'll take it. In Shan-hu easily lifted the package. It's fine. Compared to the lives I'm carrying, this is light. Skill. Body fortification has been activated. Han Suko followed behind him. This punishment is too harsh. You're being punished for using magic in self-defense by having to serve someone else. Let's go tell him. No. In Shan-hu threw the package into a trash heap. He calmly refused. It's nothing difficult. Han Suko insisted. At least talk to the student council president. Get the term short. The surrounding students whispered. Wasn't the warehouse fire that commoner students' fault? It's wrong to use magic and endanger other students in the first place. That commoner only got a warning, while the noble students received a heavy punishment for a small warehouse fire. The Crown Prince's judgment is really questionable. Han Suko's face darkened. They continued talking. The parents of those students will make a fuss. How is His Highness going to handle it? Just expelling nobles. Other academies will look down on us. In Shan-hu's eyes suddenly turned icy. Were those students expelled? In Shan-hu's expression was grave. I'm sorry, I just remembered something. I'll be right back. He turned and walked away quickly, leaving Han Suko standing alone. The professor spoke contemptuously. That commoner is ruining the academy's atmosphere. How can we not expel him? I didn't become an educator to teach commoners. Han Suko took a step forward. Yes, go ahead, Shan-hu. He walked up to those people. What did you just say? The two professors looked at him in terror. Your Highness, why are you here? We were just. Han Suko's eyes were cold. Enough. You won't remember anyway. No need to answer. He raised his hand, an ominous purple energy gathering in his palm. I will do what I must. In Shan-hu sprinted down the hallway. He slammed open a door. Senior, Yunei sighed. No running in the hallways. In Shan-hu spoke urgently. That's not the issue here. Those male students were expelled. Do you know? Maybe Senior doesn't know. If the professors insist, even the student council president can't stop an expulsion. I see. That makes sense. A smile played on Eunice's lips. Yes, I know. In Shan-hu was incredulous. You knew about this? You promised you would at least prevent the expulsion. Eunice remained silent, his expression unreadable. I've been too influenced by him until now. In Shan-hu's face turned pale. I told you they might not survive if they leave the academy, but they were still expelled. Eunice finally spoke. After hearing what you said, I did try to stop it, but the expulsion process was already complete. It was too late by the time I intervened. He turned his face away. The truth is, I never intended to help at all. He spoke. I'm sorry, Shan-hu. I wanted to help, but I was powerless. In Shan-hu whispered, so that's how it was. Eunice sneered inwardly. Just be used by me like everyone else. He spoke. Sorry to bring you bad news. In Shan-hu choked up and grabbed his hand. It's okay. You did your best. You must be suffering too. Eunice nodded. I was also troubled to hear they might disappear. However, a faint, cold smile touched the corner of his lips. He pulled his hand back. Haha, you're too good with words. I'd like to chat more, but I'm swamped with work. In Shan-hu turned to leave. Take care. He looked up and sighed deeply. Senior must feel so guilty too. And he has to pretend like nothing's wrong. How hard that must be. Neither of us could save them. A magic device on the table flickered. No exit records confirmed. Someone saw the three of them leave through the main gate. But the surveillance outside the school showed no one coming out. Where did they go? Did they really disappear? Without a trace. Without a single clue. The dining table was laden with food. Han Suko spoke. You don't look well. Shan-hu, you should protest. The punishment is too severe. In Shan-hu remained silent. Han Suko looked at him. Are you worried about those expelled nobles? Leaving doesn't mean they'll die. Maybe they're in another dimension. Don't overthink it. It's really okay. The atmosphere at the table was tense. Park Yin-who stared at In Shan-hu. That face trying so hard to look calm is too obvious. How would I recognize that kind of expression? Just because he clings to me, I can see right through him. It's so annoying, but pushing him away would be worse. Maybe it's better to keep him by my side. In Shan-hu forced a smile. I'm really fine. I'm probably just hungry. Park Yin-who listened distractedly. I still have to ask about that cat's strange behavior. An opportunity to be alone with him has come. The opportunity is right here. The teacher spread his arms and announced loudly, the joint swordsmanship and magic class is about to begin. There are no monsters in the city, but they often appear in the countryside or remote areas. Of course, we can't let you novices fight for real. So, let's practice safely within the academy. In Shan-hu thought, I knew this scene would come soon. The thrilling event between the female protagonist and the Tower Master. The slime, startled by the Tower Master's magic, turns to attack the female protagonist. The scene where the Tower Master steps in to save her is really cool. According to the plot, this should be an easy victory event. Inshanhu covered his mouth, holding back a smile. Work in pairs of two. Capture the slimes on the back mountain within the time limit. The more, the better. Hansukoku leaned closer to Inshanu. Want to team up with me? Inshanu nodded. Sure. His smile froze on his face. The teacher pleaded with the Tower Master. Please assist with safety supervision today. Hansuko's brow furrowed slightly. Why me? The teacher explained, only you can level the entire back mountain with magic. Park Inu remained expressionless. Hansuko said, by that logic, the Grand Duke shouldn't participate either. He should also assist with safety. The professor explained with a smile, leveling a mountain with a sword is impossible. For the sake of balance, please don't be angry. Inshanu's plan for an easy victory was ruined. Hansuku looked apologetic. Shanghu, I am sorry. I can't team up with you anymore, but at least take these. Inshanhu was full of confidence. Thanks. With so many spells, it would be hard for me to get hurt even if I tried. Hansuko announced solemnly, I've cast a tracking spell. If you get hurt, I'll know immediately. Park Inu urged impatiently, stop dawdling. Let's go. Inshanhu roared, what's the use of having the Grand Duke around? I'm weak and scared. Hansuko was dragged away by the teacher. I'll be back soon. A blue screen unfolded before Inshanhu's eyes. New mission. Defeat the monster with the male lead. Reward. New skill. Skill upgrade. Failure will lock the Tower Master's route. In the forest. In a clearing, students were fighting with slimes. Lure them over here. Don't point your arrow at me. It's okay if you can't catch the slimes. Safety first. Inshanhu waved his arms excitedly. This is a piece of cake. Park Ina watched him, expressionless. The wind howled. A strange movement came from the forest. Inshanhu stopped abruptly. This feeling was exactly the same as during the warehouse incident. Park Inu suddenly spoke. Inshanhu, let's talk about. His pupils suddenly contracted. A dangerous aura washed over them. He grabbed Inshanhu. Get down. Dust flew into the air. A blurry red shadow was visible. As the dust settled, a huge, crimson dragon was coiled in the forest. The students looked up in terror. What is that? Inshanhu couldn't believe it. The professor only prepared low-level slimes. How could there be a dragon on the Academy's back mountain? My God, that size. Are we supposed to fight that thing? He was breaking down inside. There were no dragons in the novel. If we're found before the knights arrive, maybe we won't have to fight. Parkianu's face was grim. It's too late. Those crimson dragon eyes had locked onto them. The dragon let out a roar. Its sharp claws crashed down with destructive force. Park Ianu threw Inshanhu over his shoulder. Go down the mountain for help immediately. We'll hold out until then. Inshanhu struggled. I can use magic too. Park Ianu threw him forcefully. I know about your magic, but experience is more important. Go now, while the acceleration spell is still active. Inshanhu tumbled through the air. You just threw me like that? How am I supposed to land? He actually succeeded. Park Ianu blocked the dragon's claw with one hand on his sword. Inshanhu looked back. It took 30 minutes to get here. Even if help comes quickly, Ianu will have to hold on alone for an hour. Unease welled up in his heart. Even with the swordsmanship of the Northern Grand Duke, could he really fight a dragon alone for an hour? Impossible. Absolutely impossible. The moment the dragon appeared, that everything went wrong. Rather than lose you again, he stopped abruptly. A drop of water condensed on his fingertip. I'd rather die with you. Besides, I'm the protagonist. I won't really die. He turned and fiercely threw the condensed water ball. The water ball accurately hit the side of the dragon's face with a dull thud. Inshanhu landed and stood firm. Park Ianu roared in shock. Inshanhu, what are you doing? Go back. Inshanhu said, I'm the protagonist. I won't die. That wouldn't be logical. The dragon's massive body cast a shadow, its oppressive presence suffocating. Inshanhu took a deep breath. Calm down. Everything will be fine. He clenched his fists. It's okay. The dragon's scales shattered on impact. Its massive body crashed to the ground, kicking up a cloud of dust. Inshanhu stood his ground, panting heavily. He turned to Park Ianu, a brilliant smile blooming on his face. We beat it, and we're completely unharmed. The Tower Master's spells are amazing. The dragon opened its bloody maw. Inshanhu's smile froze. A warm liquid sprayed onto his face. A chill ran down his spine. Park Ianu's body suddenly stiffened. Blood gushed from his chest. In Shanhu held Park Inu, his mind a complete blank. What should I do? Stop the bleeding first? Or move him if I carry him down the mountain? The wound is too big. Moving him will only make it worse. And the enhancement spell is about to wear off. I won't be able to carry him then. Is he going to die just like this? Everyone leaves me in the end. Please, someone save my friend. Park Inu's hand fell limply. He weakly called out, In Shanhu. In Shanhu looked at him. Stay awake. Don't fall asleep. Stay with me. Park Inu's voice was as faint as a mosquito's buzz. Send. The magic signal. In Shanhu's eyes regained their clarity. Okay. His pupils trembled. He felt himself lift Park Inu. His body was unbelievably light. Hang in there, Park Inu. A voice roared in his mind. Get out of my world. This is my world. To restore balance, there must be killing. In Shanhu's consciousness gradually blurred. Just like last time, his magic was depleted. All that was left was the enhancement spell, which could last for 3 minutes at most. Park Inu couldn't take any more shocks. It was too dangerous. He leaped between the mountain rocks, carrying Park Inu. Let's get to a safe place first. Just hold on a little longer, Park Inu. The mountainside collapsed. Rocks rained down. Han Suko's face darkened. That's the direction In Shanhu went. In Shanhu's expression was grave. Is it over? He knelt on the ground, gasping for breath. Beside him, Park Inu was unconscious. Ever since that dragon appeared out of nowhere, everything had become strange. Every time that ominous premonition appeared, danger would follow. If only I had realized it sooner. Park Inu struggled to open his eyes. He looked up. In Shanhu. In the north, injuries like this are commonplace. It's no big deal. In Shanhu looked worried. You're so badly hurt. Park Inu said, in the north, dozens of monsters attack every day. Facing a dragon, getting away with just this is considered lucky. In Shanhu lowered his head, his voice trembling. Don't talk like it's not a serious injury. Park Inu turned away. I'm really fine. In Shanhu snapped his head up, tears streaming from his eyes. You bastard. You're a noble, the Grand Duke. How can you be so used to this? He screamed, breaking down. Aren't nobles supposed to hide in the back and let commoners die for them? Why are you like this? Why? He was sobbing. I should have been the one to get hurt. Park Inu reached out his hand. He cupped In Shanhu's face. Don't ever say that again. Don't say those kinds of things. The wound isn't fatal. The bleeding has stopped. It'll be fine as long as it's treated properly. So don't cry. In Shanhu buried his face in his chest. Park Inu sent. He burst into tears. Park Inu froze. This feeling was so familiar, as if he had experienced it before. This small embrace, these hands clutching my collar, these tremors. In Shanhu sobbed, I know you were busy, but I thought you'd at least come to the graduation ceremony. How long do I have to wait until you look at me without giving up? Park Inu held the crying girl in his arms. Why? Why am I comforting this girl? I don't even know. What is this world? My heart aches so much. I want to do anything for you. I want to make you smile forever. Because I know how cute you are when you smile. Because I can only feel happy when I see you smile. The way you force a smile until you break down always leaves me helpless. Shanhu, don't cry, please. How could I ever forget you? I'm sorry, it's all my fault. From childhood until now, I've always been the same. His kiss landed on In Shanhu's forehead, gentle and cherished. Shanhu. In Shanhu's body stiffened. His pupils dilated. What did you just call me? Park Inu looked at him. Is it too strange? Calling you by your first name. It feels too intimate. He gave a slightly shy smile. In Shanhu suddenly leaped up, wrapping his legs around his neck and hugging him tightly. He buried his face in his shoulder. Idiot, fool, bastard, moron. Do you know how lonely I've been? How hard it's been? Park Inu hugged him back. Idiot, fool, bastard, moron. I'm here. In Shanhu trembled all over. This feeling is too intense. It's terrifying. Park Inu soothed him. I'm sorry. I'm late. I wish I could explain more, but my memories came back all of a sudden. In Shanhu was confused. Why? This makes no sense. What was the trigger? Park Inu recalled everything. It was like watching a movie in an instant. A movie where I was the main character. What you just said was so shocking. It pulled me back to reality. You must have been holding on alone for a long time. In Shanhu lowered his head. Yes, Park Inu continued, but you have to complete the mission. After all, you defeated a dragon. In Shanhu checked the reward. Proof of overwhelming power. Legendary accessory set. The reward should be a new skill or a skill upgrade. Please, let it be a healing skill. Park Inu spoke up. It's okay. I can endure it. If you only need that skill because of me, then learn something you need more. Inshanhu roared. Endure what? You're not just bleeding, you're gushing blood. But Park Inu was calm. This body's recovery speed is astonishing. The wound is already healing. He made a move to take off his clothes. Inshanhu hastily stopped him. What are you doing, suddenly taking off your clothes? Park Inu scared. Don't you find it strange? Inshanhu was confused. What? Park Inu looked at him. In games or novels, dragons are usually the final boss, right? But the two of us defeated it so easily. Inshanhu was thoughtful. It's true we did. Defeat it without any of the other male leads. A voice suddenly shouted, Shanhu. He looked down and saw Longshur. Longshur wriggled in his hand. Are you okay? I knew the world would interfere. I just didn't expect it to go this far. It seems determined to kill you, to expel you from this world. Didn't you feel anything strange? Inshanhu had a realization. So that feeling was real. I did feel it before the dragon appeared, before the landslide. That feeling was the world interfering with me. Longshur confirmed from his palm. Yes. Shanhu, you have to be careful. I can't use any more power to maintain this world. I can only issue missions and rewards. Congratulations on completing the mission. As for the reward, Inshanhu interrupted him. Park Inu suddenly got his memories back. What's going on? Longshur looked at Park Inu. He examined him closely. Two possibilities. Either this world failed to completely imprison his personality, or his will is strong enough to overcome the world's suppression. In any case, congratulations on regaining your memories. Park Inu's tone was uncertain. Thank you. His gaze sharpened. Judging from that system thing, the responsibility of the missions Shanhu receives is too heavy, isn't it? Why push all of this onto Inshanhu? He questioned Longshur. Why does it have to be Inshanhu? There must be other adults. Can't a few more people share the burden? Longshur struggled. Don't push me. He stammered, that is. Inshanhu interrupted with a laugh. Who else could it be but the amazing me? Longshur quickly agreed. Yes, I've relayed everything I needed to. I'm leaving now. Think about whether to upgrade a skill or get a new one. Goodbye. Park Inu looked at Inshanhu. You're obviously putting on a brave face. Why are you doing this alone? Why are you trying to save everyone by yourself? It's completely unreasonable. Inshanhu was thoughtful. He's always like this. He acts like he doesn't care, but he's always worrying about others. Park Inu's tone suddenly changed. I'm in so much pain right now. I think I'm dying. Inshanhu was shocked. Didn't you say you were fine? He reached out to touch his forehead. Do you have a fever? Can't you even stop the blizzard? Park Inu said, my stomach hurts a little too. Do you have something to cover me with? Inshanhu was exasperated. My clothes are already on your stomach. Do you want me to take off more right here? Park Inu laughed. Ha ha ha. No. Since this is a novel world, does that mean we have to see the ending before we can leave? Let's go see that ending together. Let's go home together. Inshanhu looked blank. Do you really know what the ending is? Park Inu raised his hand, his fingertips gently brushing through his hair. The me now and the me from the modern world are actually very similar. That denseness, that clumsiness, that determination to do whatever it takes to reach a goal. He suddenly spoke. That white hair guy, he must have put an alarm spell on you, right? Inshanhu was startled. He said there would be a signal if I got hurt. Park Inu continued. Since you're going to see the ending with me. He suddenly leaned in and kissed Inshanhu. Inshanhu's eyes widened in shock. What? Park Inu deepened the kiss, giving him no room to think. Two teachers blocked Hansuko, the magic tower master. You can't go. Several students saw the dragon's silhouette. You can't go alone. Reinforcements will be here soon. Hansuko shook them off. Get out of my way. Shanhu is there. I have to find him and protect him. A group of people panicked. You can't go. This place could collapse again at any moment. A huge boulder crashed down. Hansuko looked up. Screams erupted. A pillar of light shot into the sky. Hansuko instantly controlled the rubble. He stepped into a devastated clearing. He looked around. Why are the slimes gathered here? Unless they sensed a great threat. Someone eliminated these slimes. And there are traces of magic. This is Shanhu's magic. He must have been here not long ago. He whipped his head around, his gaze locking onto the distance. His heart skipped a beat. This is the signal for when Shanhu is hurt. He no longer hesitated and ran with all his might. Shanhu, answer me. Shanhu's voice came from ahead. Suko, I'm here. You came to save me. I don't have any magic left. Hansuko said, step back first. Shanhu replied, okay. The ground cracked. Rubble flew everywhere. Hansuko leaned out from the hole that had been broken open. Are you okay? Are you hurt? Inshanhu looked at him. I'm Fine. But Inu. Hansuko's gaze slowly moved down, landing on Park Inu in Inshanhu's arms. He muttered under his breath, Inu. Inshanhu explained anxiously, he was seriously injured protecting me. I'm very worried about him. Hansuko noticed the corners of their mouths. He hurried forward. Shanhu, I'll help you now. Inshanhu said, Really? I'm at my limit. Hansuko asked, Why do you two have the same kind of wound on your mouths? Inshanhu was instantly flustered. It's so strange, isn't it? Hansuko supported Inshanhu with one hand and dragged Park Inu with the other. A student pointed into the distance. Look, Suko is back. Cheers erupted from the crowd. That's great. Inshanhu was being supported by Hansuko, looking dazed. Yunes closed his eyes as if nothing was wrong. Inshanhu responded with a smile. Of course. I'm perfectly fine. Hansuko's expression was grave. Shanhu, you need treatment. Let's go. Inshanhu hesitated slightly. He approached Yunes. Although it's a bit awkward, it's really great that you could come. I felt uncomfortable seeing you ever since the expulsion incident. Ansukus fingertips, legally tuchalinshanus leaves. Close your eyes. Inshanhu slowly closed his eyes. A light flashed. Hansuko said, the treatment is complete. His cheeks flushed. So soft. Inshanhu stammered in reply. Thank you. Hansuko trembled slightly. If I had enough magic, I could have brought the Grand Duke back safely too. He turned to the bedside. Now it's time to treat the Grand Duke. Inshanhu looked at the unconscious Park Inu on the bed. He covered his mouth. He recalled that kiss, that out-of-control moment. Park Inu's hand caressing Inshanhu's forehead. He bit his lower lip, his eyes turning fierce. Hansuko called out softly, Shanhu. Inshanhu snapped back to his senses. Hansuko's voice came. The treatment is finished. Inshanhu replied, Sorry, I was just spacing out. Hansuko was silent for a moment. What were you thinking about? Inshanhu stammered, the mission reward. Yes, I was thinking about that. I can choose to upgrade a skill or get a new one. He was a bit confused. Which skill should I choose? Hansuko asked, You mean like magic? The real question is, can you choose what the new skill is? If you have a skill you've never used, upgrading it to test it out wouldn't be a bad idea. Of course, there's also a risk in not knowing what the new skill is. He grew more excited as he spoke. This is so thrilling. It's like creating a new spell. Inshanhu sighed. If I can't choose the new skill, it's probably better to upgrade an existing one. He made up his mind. Okay, let's do that. His finger pressed the upgrade button. A blue light flashed. The mission window popped up. Emotion display has been upgraded. A light flashed in Inshanhu's eyes. Skill upgrade complete. Telepathy has been enabled. He shuddered. Seriously, this skill is amazing. He looked at Hansuko. I've never used this skill before. Upgrading it to telepathy. This is great. Hansuko congratulated him in a low voice. A very good skill. Hansuko looked down at Inshanhu. For you, I would do anything. A magnificent manor bathed in the morning light. The hall was brightly lit. A man looked down at a document, his expression weary. You didn't show up yesterday, so your punishment is extended by 1 day. A dragon appeared. There was a landslide, and you still dare to show up like this? Inshanhu looked innocent. The man rattled on. Go transport the professor's shirts, robes, and bedsheets. Then make me a scrambled egg sandwich. Add fresh cream to make it soft. The vegetable to sauce ratio should be 2 to 1. I was drinking yesterday. The tea should be at a temperature that won't burn my mouth. Also, copy these 10 documents word for word. Murderous intent surged in Inshanhu's eyes. Should I kill him? Body fortification activated. He took a deep breath. But what good would killing him do? Just have to endure it for 6 more days. 2 days later, Park Inu looked at him and spoke softly. Aren't you overdoing it? Hurry up and go to school. Inshanhu looked up. Your concern is unbearable. Park Inu smiled. How's school? Is it empty without your big brother? Inshanhu looked at him. Big brother? You almost died, didn't you? Want to go for a swim in the river Styx? Park Inu propped his hands behind his head, looking languid. Don't push yourself too hard. If the punishment is too severe, just say so. Inshanhu retorted. And if I do, what will you do? The corners of Park Inu's mouth turned up, revealing a hint of a fawn. Of course, I'll go raise hell for you. A blush spread across Inshanhu's cheeks, his heart. That skipped a beat. He turned his face away. So shameless. You even stole my clothes last time. Cure your stomachache first before you talk. Park Inu laughed helplessly. Stop teasing me. You think I want to be in pain? In Shanhu said, why are you still wearing that blizzard elf? Take it off. Park Yanu lowered his eyelids. I can't control it at will. In Shanhu looked skeptical. Really? Liar. Park Yanu grinned. It's true. Han Suko walked forward. I'll help you. In Shanhu refused with a smile. It's fine. What can a young master who's never ironed clothes before do? Han Suko looked at hesitant. That's true. He looked at the mountain of clothes, his face falling. This workload is enough to crush anyone. In Shanhu pushed Han Suko out the door. Hurry and go. You need to sleep early to grow taller. Han Suko was pushed along helplessly. At my age, can I still grow taller? In Shanhu leaned out the window and waved goodbye. Goodbye. The clothes were piled high, neatly folded on a chair. In Shanhu stretched. Finally all done. Finished before 11. Time to go wash up. He walked towards the door and suddenly stopped. Nace was standing at the door. He quietly watched In Shanhu, tentatively asking, Senior. Nace looked down at In Shanhu's hands. They were covered in small cuts. He spoke softly. Do you need help? In Shanhu quickly waved his hands. No need, it's all done. There's nothing to help with. He sighed. That's not what I meant. A blue screen unfolded in front of In Shanhu. Urgent mission. Eliminate the Crown Prince's obsession. Reward. Expansion. Failure will restrict the Crown Prince's route. In Shanhu stared at the screen, his face filled with shock. Obsession? Eunace's tone was forceful. Ask me for help. Don't you need me? Pathetic and foolish. What can you change by stubbornly enduring it all alone? In Shanhu answered timidly yes. Eunace mused, even in unreasonable situations, that your smile is so similar to mine. He suddenly clenched his fist. Veins bulged on his fist. I believed you would be my only confidant. I hated your genuine smile, and at the same time, I was furious that the smile didn't belong to me. I had to keep thinking about what these complicated emotions meant. You said you liked me, right? In Shanhu looked at the hand that was caressing his cheek. Senior, your hand. Eunace leaned in close, his breath hot. Do you need me to say it? Ask me for help. In Shanhu shoved him away abruptly. Wait a minute, Senior. You can't say things like that with that face. I didn't say I liked you to get your help. Besides, I know you don't like me, so you have even less reason to do this. His tone was firm. Don't worry. I've already let it go. Eunace was taken aback. Let what go? In Shanhu lowered his eyes. My feelings must have troubled you, Senior, and I don't want to cause trouble for the person I like. So, Eunace suddenly grabbed his wrist, stopping his words. His voice was hoarse. Don't stop. His gaze brooked no argument. This is an order. In Shanhu looked down at their hands and fell silent. Eunace let go of his hand. Since it's all done, I'll be leaving. In Shanhu bowed to him. Senior, you should also get some rest. It's already very late. He turned and left. The door was slammed shut with force, making a loud bang. Eunace covered his mouth, his eyes filled with shock and panic. Impossible. The morning light was faint. In Shanhu asked softly, are you really okay? Park Yanu was adjusting his cravat. I told you I'm fine. He fumbled with the fabric. Don't they have neckties here? In Shanhu handed him a necktie. Found one. Hold on. The effect of the magic is really good. It was a wound that almost went straight through, yet it healed in an instant. You should still rest more. Park Yanu tied the necktie, a faint smile playing on his lips. It healed a long time ago. I was only hospitalized for observation. In Shanhu looked skeptical. Are you really okay? Park Yanu pushed him away. Don't touch me. In Shanhu put his hands on his hips, puffing his cheeks. You're such a killjoy. Park Yanu suddenly announced, I'm hungry. Let's go eat. He pulled In Shanhu along, heading for the dining hall. What's for lunch today? In Shanhu rattled off the menu. Tomato risotto with steak, salad, and corn soup, and pickles. Park Yanu looked displeased. You look worried. Or are you just naturally ugly? In Shanhu's tone was threatening. Do you want to end up back in a hospital bed? The two walked down the hallway. The atmosphere was heavy. In Shanhu sensed something was off. Something's really strange. Something's not right. He suddenly raised his fork and stabbed fiercely at the steak on his plate. I'm planning to give up on my one-sided love. The person I like is very kind, but he's only cold to me. That's the thing. But I feel like he's comfortable when he's with me. That's why I like him. I thought it was special treatment, both in the past and now. Every time he helped me, it was just out of kindness. His occasional bluntness sometimes annoyed me. I knew he had a lot on his mind, so it didn't matter. But recently, I realized he isn't comfortable with me. He just hates me. That's hard to bear. I once thought the ending of this novel would be the person I wanted to see, but now it seems hopeless. Anyway, I've decided to give up. That's all. It's no big deal. It was just my one-sided feelings. I feel like I was making a big deal out of nothing. Park Ianu rested his chin on his hand, lost in thought. He suddenly looked up. His eyes were filled with confusion. He rested his head on the table, looking sideways at In Shanhu. Am I not okay? In Shanhu looked at him, puzzled. What? A glint appeared in Park Ianu's eyes. If you're going to give up, you can come to me. In Shanhu froze completely, as if rooted to the spot. What did you just say? Park Ianu let out a soft laugh. Watching his reaction, In Shanhu asked in disbelief. Did you say that? Park Ianu ate elegantly. Remember what I said before? If you want to see the end of this novel, be with me. He speared a tomato with his fork. That was a confession. He brought the food to his mouth and chewed slowly. In Shanhu's mind went blank. He fell backward. What? Park Ianu rested his chin on his hand and asked with great interest, You're always so slow in this regard. What did you think our kiss in the cave meant? In Shanhu stammered in reply. That was a moment of crisis. It was the atmosphere. Park Ianu smiled. That's rather hurtful. In Shanhu shouted excitedly, You monster! Since when did you like me? Park Ianu looked innocent. I don't know. He gently lifted In Shanhu's chin, his fingertips touching his lips. Middle school or elementary school? A smile played on his lips. When did it start? Does it matter? Let's eat first, then go see the professors. If they make any unreasonable demands, just call me. In this fake world, let's abuse our power a little. A storm raged in Shanhu's heart. You pervert. Park Ianu likes me, and it started a long time ago. The professor shouted, The Grand Duke likes you? How dare you spread such a rumor? Grand Duke Ianu picked up a sword when he was 3. In Shanhu worked, thinking, why? Why would he like me? There were no signs at all. How was I supposed to know? So I was talking about the person I like in front of the person who likes me. I am trash. This is where I belong. A hand grabbed his wrist. He threw the garbage bag into the fire. The flames roared. In Shanhu looked shaken. What was that just now? Thanks for the help, Suko. Han Suko turned his head. You're always with the Northern Grand Duke. In Shanhu was a little taken aback. Me? He subconsciously took a step back. Han Suko continued. The Grand Duke was injured for you. I can understand you visiting him often. I even wish I was the one who got hurt. But I think aimless socializing is inefficient. He lifted In Shanhu's chin. Just deciphering the magic circle is busy enough, isn't it? We also have to uncover the school's secrets. We don't have time to hang around like normal students. His fingertips brushed across his lips, the movement gentle, yet carrying an undeniable force. His eyes darkened. In Shanhu stared at him, stunned. Has Suko always been like this? It feels a bit direct. He asked in a low voice, Are you jealous? We haven't had much time to spend together lately. Are you feeling lonely and frustrated? Once this is over, it'll be the holidays. We'll have plenty of time then. We should definitely stick together. If you're feeling lonely, just hang in there a little longer, friend. Han Suko repeated in a low voice, friend. His eyes dimmed. All right, I get it. I'll hang in there. In Shanhu was hanging up bedsheets. Park Ianu closed his eyes, sensing his surroundings. I don't sense any presence. No one within at least 50 meters. In Shanhu was shocked. 50 meters? Seriously? How can you sense that far? He then understood. This must be the power of the Northern Grand Duke. Park Ianu stretched. My nerves have been so tense, I can't even sleep peacefully. It's so tiring. If my mental strength were any weaker, I probably would have fallen ill long ago. Are you still like this after regaining your memories? Park Ianu picked up a bedsheet. He was pensive. It feels like an actor who got too deep into his role and can no longer break free. Or maybe it's like two personalities merging into one. A gentle smile appeared on his face. Anyway, does it matter? The me right now is me. Or do you prefer the Northern Grand Duke version of me? In Shanhu immediately shouted, What? Absolutely not. Park Ianu's cheeks flushed slightly. That's good. In Shanhu's cheeks were burning hot. He fell silent. Park Ianu's tone shifted. More importantly, In Shanhu looked up abruptly. What? Park Ianu asked. What's the standard for the ending? Do I have to fall in love with you? Or is just dating enough? In Shanhu stammered. I'm not too sure either. Park Ianu pressed on. Since the standard is unclear, why don't we just try dating first? In Shanhu exclaimed. What? His face was completely red. He's been saying things like that so casually since last time. Park Ianu spread his hands. I didn't say anything I shouldn't have. He gazed at In Shanhu. So do you hate it? In Shan. Park Ianu's gaze deepened. Then think about it now. In Shanhu's mind went blank. Park Ianu said softly, Let's leave it at that for today. I'll make sure you keep thinking about me, okay? In Shanhu stood frozen. Park Ianu's voice drifted over. I'll keep confessing until you get tired of it. In Shanhu covered his burning face. This is so annoying. Wu Jizio paced back and forth in the lobby. Is he serious? Probably not. He said he likes the hidden side of me. So the problem really is with me. Does no one like the real me? He clenched his fists. Lately, I've been enduring your arrogant behavior. He shook his head. Who would care about someone like that? I'm just glad that annoying guy is finally disappearing. That's all. Yes, he looked out the window. The sun was shining brightly. In Shanhu and Park Ianu were playing together, chasing each other among the drying bedsheets. He fell in a deep thought. In Shanhu's eyes were determined. If I keep living a fake life, giving it my all, yet still getting nothing I want, then I might as well live as I please. In Shanhu mopped the floor with heavy steps. 2 more days, and it's over. 2 more days until the freedom of the holidays. He bumped into someone and quickly apologized. I'm sorry. Wu Jizio stopped him. In Shanhu smiled brightly. I've finished cleaning. You can use the restroom now. You must be a magic scholarship student, Wu Jizio mused. Making a female student clean the men's restroom is too much. But she seems used to this treatment. In Shanhu nodded. It's not that bad. Wu Jizio said, is it because of a lack of connections that you haven't found a sponsor yet? With your abilities, the nobles should be fighting over you. Or did your parents' long-term vision stop you? High-level mages make a lot of money. For a commoner, do you have a good head on your shoulders? In Shanhu looked confused. What are you talking about? Wu Jizio took his hand. I said I'll help you. Help you find a good family. In Shanhu became even more confused. Wu Jizio gently stroked the back of his hand. This society values status. You've suffered a lot because of your status, so you should know. Once you have noble status, you won't be treated so unreasonably anymore. In Shanhu looked at him blankly. Wu Jizio smiled slightly. I will give you all that power. His voice was gentle, yet carried an undeniable force. In Shanhu recalled this scene. It overlapped with the plot in the game. Gaining status with the help of the Crown Prince. Then comes the revenge. That's the highlight of this chapter. But to trigger this plot, I must first be saved by the Crown Prince in the warehouse. Only then will their story progress. Only then will he realize he is the only one who can save the heroine. But the plot has already deviated from the novel. This scene wasn't supposed to happen. I can't accept the senior's help anymore. I shouldn't. In Shanhu's fingers trembled as he pulled away from his palm. Because if you owe a favor, you have to repay it. If we keep meeting like this, that I will waver. Wu Jizio looked at his empty hand, his gaze darkening. Wavering, In Shanhu looked up with a firm gaze. Thank you for your concern, but from now on, please don't help me anymore. I can manage on my own. If I'm always taken care of by you, that I'll be spoiled. Wu Jizio leaned down and stared at him. It's okay. Even without my help, it's okay if you achieve nothing. Because I can do anything for you. In Shanhu's cheeks flushed, his breathing quickening. He turned and ran. Wu Jizio watched his retreating back. If you don't like this or that, then I have no reason to listen to your opinion every time. You don't know what I can do, that or how far I can go. He turned to leave. I'll show you, and then I'll listen to your thanks. It feels good to do as I please, the professor said. At another week, In Shanhu was furious. Why? He stood in the room, piled with books, facing the professor in anger. The professor looked at In Shanhu's face. You child, why are you so weak? Just because a teacher gives you some work, you make me out to be the bad guy. In Shanhu retorted. What are you talking about? The professor sneered, still playing dumb. A female teacher stepped forward. Professor Peter, this is too much. When is he supposed to go to class? He's a magic scholarship student. He needs his grades. Other teachers also couldn't watch any longer. This might affect his performance evaluation. Professor Peter was dismissive. You must have been crying about it everywhere. In Shanhu was stunned. Professor Peter shouted in front of everyone. Do you think I'm targeting you for no reason? This is punishment. I have no choice. What's unfair about you talking behind my back? Thanks to you, my reputation has been a mess lately. In Shanhu pondered. This is my punishment. I bear it alone. I rejected most help. Why do I still have to hear these words? It's already hard enough. Why do these things keep happening one after another? Professor Peter pointed at him. Are you crying now? This is why people with no background are just... A teacher rushed over and stood in front of In Shanhu. I told you this was too much. He turned to In Shanhu, his tone softening. Go on out. Wipe your tears. In Shanhu replied in a low voice. Yes. He turned and left. Han Suko sat in the shadows. He lowered his head, his hands tightly clenched. Shanhu, how much longer do I have to endure?